Oh, there it goes. Hey. I think, yeah, we are live. Very good.
And I'm your second host, ItsSneakyAdolf.
God damn it. You're gonna make me laugh, and I'm gonna fucking cough, and it's gonna be the worst. Fuck.
I'm excited to start the podcast, man. We haven't done the podcast in the 2 previous weeks, so
That's true. That is true. It sucks that we didn't. I really wanted to, but fuck me
yeah,
forever, I guess.
and it's all your fault.
It is. It is all my fault. And that's the truth, isn't it?
How dare you?
How dare I? I know. I'm the worst. Hey, Durat here. What's up? You are here. You want the link to the stream? I got you, if so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just realized there might be something inherently problematic about going, and I'm your second host as soon as the stream starts, and that's that there's no one here yet to hear that.
Right, I was gonna say. Don't worry, the VOD people and the people in the audio version will hear you. Don't worry.
That might be an issue with the bit.
You gotta refine that bit of the bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on it.
All right, okay. I'll meet you in R&D later. Anyway, Slay. Yeah, how dare you? All right. So, while people are coming in, error. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Hilarious. It is. It's lying to me. Why does it lie to me? Alright, anyway. Hey. Welcome back to Table Talk Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Great on 95.
And I, as usually, am your second host, ItsSneakyAdolf.
And, yeah. We're back. We're finally here, performing for you.
No third host this evening.
Not yet. He has the work, and so he takes the long. But he will be here when he is here. So yeah. I'm gonna be coughing on occasion. I do apologize, but I am 95% better. So we can do the pod. And that's good. So you changed your thing to end up your second host. I did. That's good. That's very good.
I
but yeah,
think that might be a better bit.
I like that. I do like that. Alright, so yeah, for those of you watching the VOD, or those of you in the audio version, by the way, audio version people, I'm sorry, I still haven't posted last episode for you as of this recording. I'll get it up to you tomorrow. I felt like garbage, and I couldn't edit, and it's not that hard to edit these together for the audio version, but like, fuck me, so don't worry about it. But yeah, so, I apologize, even though it's literally nothing I could do to stop it, but I got a respiratory infection, which is the worst thing to do when you have a podcast, where you can't speak. It's not helpful, like, at all, but, so that took a while, and I'm still not 100% over it, but we're getting there. Excuse me. So, you might hear me with a cough drop in my mouth on occasion, and for that, I also apologize. But, that being said...
And you might hear me with a bottle of water, because I am thirsty, and for that, I do not apologize.
Good. So, we have comments from, last week. We also have many comments from... the explanation video and all of that, so thank you for all of the good wishes. I appreciate that, but I will not be reading them out loud on the pod. So let's get into comments. Here we go. So, yes, water. Surely not a drink of alcoholic content. Well, there you go.
I plead the fifth.
So, Unit Rico, on our last episode on the Warhammer Fantasy and Age of Sigmar look that we did, says, ooh, this one should be interesting. I'm a few sessions in a Warhammer Fantasy 2nd Ed game. It's been good fun so far. Excuse me. Yeah, the whole GW copyright situation is a shit show. From what I've heard, it isn't quite as bad as it appeared to be at the start, but a combination of copyright law being dumb and GW being absolutely determined to never communicate anything properly to the fanbase has made a lot of people pretty damn anxious. Yeah, well, excuse me.
So that actually, yes, reminds me of, like, I had my own incident, I guess you could say, with the whole copyright thing today, because I took a nap just before the podcast. And what I decided to listen to while I was napping was an episode of Lorehammer. And I could not find Lorehammer on Spotify at first. And my heart sunk and I thought, oh no.
No way.
Oh no. Yeah. Please no. And fortunately it was not. I was just the dumb. But I find it real ironic that they're being such what's the operative term? Such fucks about the copyright.
Yeah.
When they literally have like the big old ironworks that's around Mars that were like the home of the Adeptus Mechanicus is called Metallica.
True. But don't worry. Don't worry about it. It's fine. They cleared it with them. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm really just hoping that nothing else goes away anytime soon. Cause like, I looked for Astartes because I forgot, and because I wanted to show it to a couple of friends who I have become their plastic crack dealer, and bought them boxes for their birthdays. Yeah, so I was looking for it because I was just like, hey, I just want to show you something cool because you've never seen it probably. And I remembered, oh yeah, it's gone. But there are fan compilations and such, so I showed one of those, which was good at least. But man, Astartes was good.
Correction, I looked up Metallica because I just wasn't sure if it was the thing around Mars. Something kind of told me that was wrong, and it was right, because I'm better at Warhammer lore, I don't know, instinctually.
Sure.
It is a planet.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a metal planet, but it's a planet.
Are you sure? You mean GW named something that was a metal planet Metallica? I don't believe you. I don't get it.
Just like that, how they named the guy who was angry Angeron.
Subtle.
Dude, GW has the subtlety of a school bus.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, continuing on. If I recall correctly, one big problem that people had with the End Times is mostly that it was poorly written and all over the place. From what I've heard, the early Age of Sigmar rules also weren't very good. Add to that the fact that the original fantasy world was quite literally blown up, including several factions whose models didn't have rules for the new game until much later, and I can see why people weren't too happy. Granted, the original game still exists, even if it isn't supported officially. Age of Sigmar has apparently vastly improved, and the old world is coming next year, hopefully. Please just give me my army of Kislev winged hussars. So GW has repaired some of the goodwill they lost. I didn't know they were coming with that. I'll have to look into that. Excuse me. So, oh, the rat here says, "Oh God, end times. It had so many cool aspects, but was such a chaotic mess. Guess that was the Chaos God's goal, though, aka GW and corporate." I don't know much about it, but if that's the case, oof. So I know the first video was only supposed to be a short introduction / sales pitch for the game, but I'd really hoped he'd go into the career system a bit, as it's really one of the selling points for the system to me. I'm not sure how much it has changed between editions, but in 2E, you pick or roll a career instead of a class at the start of the game. This gives you some equipment and a starting set of skills, as well as an advancement table, a set of predetermined increases in your characteristics for that character. Then, in the game, you can spend XP on filling out those advancements, buying skills or talents, or increasing your mastery over skills, and once you have filled out the advancements of your career, bought all the necessary skills, and gathered the trappings, basic equipment, for your next career, which you can pick from a list determined by your current career. For instance, I'm currently playing as a barber surgeon, and my options are interrogator, grave robber, physician, tradesman, and vagabond. You can switch to a new career. It's a really interesting and flexible way of creating and developing your character, and unlike anything I've ever seen in any other TTRPG. Granted, I've not explored that many. That sounds interesting. I didn't know.
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of like having to roll for your class.
Yeah,
just because not all people enjoy the play styles of all classes.
Yeah.
Speaking personally, like I like Warlock but hate playing Wizard. I like Rogue but hate playing Fighter.
Yep.
So I do very much like the fact that like your quote unquote class is a bit more like malleable, and you can like pick and choose skills that like help your class like have the role you imagine for it. And that's something I may steal from the system and create like an Uber system out of.
Fair enough, yeah.
Yeah, I doubt I'll take it as implemented.
Yeah, I feel like probably we'd just say, oh, I want to go that way. You know, I'll look at this and then I want to become this next, right?
Yeah.
Skaven got MVP by blowing up the Warpstone moon with nukes to mine the Warpstone moon. That's fair. Skaven, of course, would do that, and that doesn't surprise me that they do that. Okay. Yeah, GW still produces stuff for the Middle Earth SBG strategy board game, I assume. Although interesting. But new miniatures come few and far between, and some of the smaller sets are rotated in and out of production. It definitely isn't as popular. Hell, I recently got some minis to round out my goblin army, and one of them was a metal model that had a copyright blurb from 2010 on it. Though, from what I've heard, it still has a decently dedicated fan base, and the game mechanics are really solid, to the point that my old rulebook from 2008 is still largely up to date. Oh, that's neat. No codex creep? Crazy. I can't imagine. I think one reason that the game isn't more popular is that it's harder for GW to come out with new and shiny models and pile on the hype. Most of the old sculpts still look pretty decent, and there just isn't that much wiggle room in the lore to come up with new stuff. I mean, they did invent some of their own stuff and created minis for things that are only mentioned in the books, but at some point you're going to run out of new stuff to make. I'm hoping that the new Amazon show is good and brings new people to the game, though.
Alejo,
yes,
you delve into the plastic crack.
I do.
So I recently got introduced to the concept of codex creep.
Yeah.
And I'm not fully up to date with what that means. Does it mean that like, say I get an army of Adepta Sororitas.
Sure.
And in 8th, they're kind of meh. And in 9th, they fuck hard. If I show up to a game, do I just like show up with either my 8th edition codex, which is meh, or my 9th edition codex, which is baller, and then say I'm using 9th edition Adepta Sororitas? Where you can be fighting someone who has like 7th codex, I don't know, orcs.
So as far as I'm aware, codex creep is that the codex, like, it takes so long, and the older codexes are much worse than the new ones, like, of the current year, and they go so slowly that it makes it so that some things are kind of unplayable against certain things. That's my understanding. I could be very wrong. I don't know entirely.
Okay.
But that's just what I get from the way it's used and from the kind of the way the community is. I don't know. Somebody can correct me on that. Please do.
Because I was of the mind where like numbers just kind of get bigger everywhere. Like, oh, your army does like 8d6 when it rolls to shoot instead of like 5d6. Good for your army, but every army is getting better. I wasn't sure if it was that edition where I'm like, okay, well, that's like going from D&D 5e to Pathfinder. Numbers go up, yes, but they go up across the board. So
right.
Balance is maintained.
Yeah, well, first off, balance is one of those things that they put out errata for, like, all the time. Like, after they put out their new codex, of course, because it's not perfectly balanced. But, something that's coming, I can give an example at least of a difference from the newest orc stuff, as opposed to the old orc stuff. Orcs in 8th, at least, when you roll this 6, they exploded, right? So you could roll again, and get another hit, maybe. Either that or you auto got a hit. I don't actually know, because now I'm seeing other people that do it with an auto hit, but I don't know. Anyway, it's another thing I've got to look into if we've been playing wrong for, like, ever. And in 9th, they've actually changed it so that certain weapons have the trait Daka, where if they're within a certain inch range, then you get more shots, just in general. You don't have to worry about exploding 6s anymore. So it's just a completely different change, though I don't know if it's better or worse. I have no idea, because I haven't used it, and I don't have that codex yet. But that's the only change, like, more so that I know of that I can compare to, because it's one of the only other armies that I've played. I didn't play 8th Necrons, though I will play 9th Necron, right? Because I have a shit ton of them, and I like Necron. So I have nothing to compare to there, but again, from my understanding, it's just, it takes forever, and they're worse until they're good.
Okay.
Anyway, right, the other thing, I'm also hoping that new Amazon show is different enough to end also good. Like, that would be cool. If they actually, like, use that to bring up that game, that'd be neat, too.
Amazon show?
Yeah, the Lord of the Rings, Amazon show.
Oh, yeah.
The one that's taking place before everything. Heard mixed things about the Amazon show. That doesn't surprise me. I feel like there's gonna be... So, I've complained about it a lot. Writing is dying for some reason, at least in Hollywood and all that. Writing is dying for some reason, and it sucks. And either the mixed things are because the writing is bad, or people are too nostalgic. One of the two. I don't know. I hope it's because people are too nostalgic and not that the writing is bad, right? Because I am fine with there being a new show if it's in a different time and all that kind of stuff. And I will admit that if the new show is if the new show was in the same as the movies, it would take a lot for me to like it just because of that nostalgia and because like I have the actual older movies that are really good and they don't need to be remade. But you know, it's just one of those things. Hey, Pizza Funk. Really, I think people are way too judgy for me. If I'm entertained, then I'm not complaining. That's fair. And honestly, if that's all you need, then that's all you need, right?
Yeah.
If you're not an asshole like me, who looks at the movie and then like afterwards starts thinking about it too hard, and then goes, "Why the fuck did they make this?" Right? Then you're probably fine.
Yeah, it all comes down to people consume media like differently.
Absolutely.
Like for instance, the other day I was talking with a friend of mine about there's a thing I saw. It was a theory of for like a 26 like season episode show that seems like the episodes are all like unrelated and sort of like just kind of daily life. And then the final episode of the season pulls like the Rube Goldberg machine of a plot together.
Oh.
And hits you, like it pulls all the triggers at once.
Oh. Okay.
And I'm like, bruh, I'm super down for that. But I contacted my friend who, for instance, watched half of the first episode of JoJo, got upset at the main character's family being stupid, and hasn't watched any more JoJo. And likes to say that the whole show is dumb because of it.
Oh.
And well, I'm like, that's not the show being dumb. No. That's you.
Yeah. There's
which I told her to her face, and she was like, "Yeah, maybe, probably."
Well, there you go. It's one of those things.
But I mentioned it, and I'm like, what do you think? And she was like, I would probably get bored of it real easy unless I really liked the characters, and that show would not be for me. And I'm like, okay, that's fair. We just consume media differently.
Right.
I'm super into the long form. Like, I see Mahler uploads a 31-hour Star Wars 2 review.
Right.
And I go like, siak.
Yeah, I like long content too. Speaking of, by the way, Deratir says, when I think of this topic, I think over the new Star Wars movies. They had a lot of potential, but I feel there were fans who were split over what it should be about. One moment they demand something new and different, but when they try to do that, the fans then demand that things are too different. As they say, Star Wars fans hate Star Wars the most. So, no. Sorry. So, there's a lot of problems with Star Wars, new Star Wars in general. There's a lot of writing issues. Now, some of the people out there, sure, are just saying it's too different, or it's, too similar to the old stuff. I don't care. That's not what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the quality of the writing.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about the fact that if you give anything a single thought, it doesn't make sense. From the 7th movie, like from the beginning.
The 8th movie especially.
The 8th movie especially, but literally the 7th movie starts everything off and makes it not make sense. The moment that they say the entire Republic is like being threatened after 30 years, by this fringe organization that somehow has all these resources after 30 years of the Empire falling, and that Luke is now a legend after 30 years.
And the advances in technology that the Sith produced do not matter, and no one chose to implement them except for this one fringe faction.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm a fan of good writing. I don't care about Star Wars. I care about how it's written. I'm not a Star Wars fan either. Exactly. It's just something where, like, you can like it however you like it. If you like it, I don't understand how, personally. But if you do, I have no issue with you liking it, right? We can talk about it all you want, but the moment you go, nah, I just like it, then I go, okay, we're done, right? Like, there's nothing that we can do other than point these things out and say, okay, so there's a problem here. Do you recognize there's a problem?
Hey,
Right?
that moment was pretty cool.
Right, yeah, exactly. So, like, if I point out a problem to you, then you go, okay. I say, is this a problem? You say no, I say why, right? Then we have a discussion about it. Then we try to understand each other's sides about it. And then we move on from there, right? Once we understand each other better.
And then you try to introduce logic to a movie made for children.
Right,
because children do not deserve logic.
I hate that argument so fucking much. God damn. You know what's got a lot of good logic and is a pretty good children's movie? Toy Story. Toy Story 1. Great movie. Very good. Or, you know what else was a flop that didn't do well, but is one of my favorite movies, and I don't know if it's good on a writing standpoint, but from what I can gather, pretty alright, yeah, as far as I know. There might be some issues here and there, but Treasure Planet, one of my favorite movies of all time.
You know, it's a movie that is paced writing, but at least, despite how simplistic it is, it carries no flaws. Up.
Up is very, very good. Yes, you're absolutely right. But yeah, sorry. Anyway, we're getting into movie talk. Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. We get sidetracked real easy. But yeah, anyway. Slay says, I think the cinematography will play a huge part of how people feel about it as well, if it doesn't come close to the movies. Cinematography, that's the thing. Some people just don't separate things in their brain, and that's fine. Whatever. You do what you want, but cinematography is one thing, right? It's not what the foundation of the movie is. The foundation of any story is how it's written. Anyway.
It should be a story that is just as good as a book.
Yes. Really, I'm tired of the whole Sith and Jedi conflict. Literally all the Star Wars stories from KOTOR to current is driven by that conflict, just to varying sizes. And that's fair. That's why if we ever did the Star Wars RPG, I would just, like, I never want to hear the word, like, I can hear the word Jedi occasionally, but, like, in passing, right? Like, I never want to be anywhere near that, you know? There's so much of the galaxy, and they've pigeonholed themselves into this one niche, right? Like, not niche, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, if we ever played the Star Wars RPG,
yeah,
I would request that it takes place like on the fringes of the galaxy,
absolutely,
like, doing its own self-contained thing, kind of like Rogue Traders.
Yes, Rogue Traders, so cool. You have a whole galaxy of species, technology, planets, government, and so on, but it all falls back to Sith and Jedi, light side and dark side. Yeah, it gets boring. It gets really boring. You're right. I love Treasure Planet. Good. Sorry, go on.
There also is the whole, like, I don't know, like, as a writer, like, when you make a whole galaxy of aliens that all have their own cultures, like, that's your excuse to make a bunch of weird fucking cultures.
Oh, man. Absolutely.
And ask a whole lot of questions about the human condition and stuff like that. You can create something that, like, what if you create a culture that is entirely monogamous? Or not monogamous?
Polyamorous.
Yes, polyamorous. Like, what might that look like?
Yeah.
Who knows? No, who cares? Jedi and Sith, light side and dark side.
Right,
it's like, exactly. Oh my god, dude, I don't care.
Yeah, we've seen the story. We get it, right? Like, it's over. We're good. Anyway, when I was a kid, I saw it in Hollywood at the El Capitan Theater. Seriously? Wow. That's sick. I'm jealous of you. That sounds cool. Slay says, it's sad the whole Star Wars underworld is left so untapped. Yeah. I mean, there's so much that they could do with that entire, like, thing, like I said, and they completely destroyed the whatever it was, the, expanded universe, and so they were just like, no, but we'll take some of those parts and we'll use them for our own thing, but we won't say that was from them. Don't worry about it. Fine. If I were to make a Star Wars movie, I would center it around a small group of stormtroopers that are friends, and I would set it on the Death Star 1 week before it gets destroyed. That would be hilarious. Oh, man. I kind of like that. Just their day-to-day, what they do, and, like, how life on the Death Star was, you know? Oh, man, that would be kind of cool.
Imagine, like, an end-of-game-esque, like, Tarask level scenario of, like, one of the reactors is going critical, and you're like, dude, we need to save this, otherwise the Death Star is fucked.
Yeah. And they do, and then the whole thing blows up the next day.
Yeah.
I would love that. That'd be so fucking funny. That's why Mando is so popular. The Force and Jedi stuff isn't the full focus. You get to see things from the bounty hunters, criminals, and everydayers. Yeah, but it all goes back to it. It doesn't matter. That's the problem. Like, it literally has all come full circle, and also Mando sucks. I'm sorry. It sucks. It's not good. I'm sorry.
I have never seen it, so I will withhold from giving my opinion.
That's all right. Dark comedy. Yeah, that'd be sick. If it was the stormtroopers on the thing. Boo. Yeah, it's not a popular opinion. It's really not, but no, Mando's not good. Sorry. That's just how it is. It's cool though. Nah, it's cool though. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of cool aspects. Absolutely. It's just like it does not hold up. I'm sorry. Characters are idiots for no fucking reason, and so there's so much plot armor. It sucks. Anyway, done with that. Let's continue with the one comment that we've been reading so far. So continuing on, the zone mechanic instead of ranges is odd. It's also the one thing about the Fallout 2D20 TTRPG I'm kind of iffy on. Admittedly, I still have to actually run and play it, so maybe it works really well. I get that it might make combat a bit easier once it's started, but carefully mapping it out to try and prevent weird situations sounds like a pain. I guess if you use Theater of the Mind, it might work a bit better because it's easier to rule edge cases. Sure. The thing that I'm about with the thing of like Theater of the Mind in combat, the way that I like it working is like something like Vampire, where in Vampire I tell you what's happening, you tell me what you want to do, I make you roll for it, and then that was your whole turn. Like, and then you move however much you moved. Like, if I determine maybe it's a little too much to get from one end of this hallway to like all the way at the other end that's like closer to the other side of the building, then you'll understand that at least. But most of the time I'll be like, yeah, you can run up to that guy. There's no reason why you couldn't run up to that guy and then just deck him into the pavement if you really want to. Let's go, roll it. Right? Like, legitimately, one of the things from my Vampire thing, which I hope we get back to at some point because it was a lot of fun. But they were trying to get into this hotel that had a casino attached to it. And there was a cop outside one of the entrances. It was just one cop who was just kind of sitting there at one of the casino entrances, because the hotel itself was like where everything was taking place. Like, there was a body in the hotel, and so they had cordoned it off. But the casino was still free. He was just there to observe some people, you know, if they came in and out, which not many people did because it's a casino. They were all in there forever. But, you know, and then they tried to distract him, and once that failed, the Bruja came in and fucking just ran and took his head and slammed it into the pavement.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And it was so good. And then after that, they made him forget the last like 10 minutes with the fucking cloud memory spell or power or whatever it's called, and we're like, dude, you fell out, and like we're here to help you. It was so funny.
Dude,
I loved it.
So I'm doing a campaign right now, and I'm just gonna vent to you, DM to DM.
Sure, absolutely.
So I made there's a town, and there is an alleyway of this town which is incredibly overgrown with these thick black, like dark vines. They're still green, but they're just kind of dark-ish. And the party's introduction to this was when someone who was walking along happened to notice because his passive perception was high, that there was a dead pig in the alleyway.
Okay.
And when he was like, he investigated the alleyway and found out that the vines, like near pig level, had been eaten. And there was like this black slimy substance covering the walls of like, as the pig is like eating the vines, it's like rubbing the slime up against the wall. And when he looks at the mouth of the dead pig, there is a bunch of black slime coming from its mouth.
What?
Yeah.
Huh.
And so
you're telling me a tree killed it?
A tree killed it. Sure.
It just fell right on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Tree branch just from the sky. And the party looks at this and looks at the dead pig, and they go, looks like a problem for the professionals, and they walk the other way, and I'm like, what the fuck? Of every single way I saw that possibly playing out, that was not one. Yeah,
that's
sounds
funny.
like, yeah, they're like reporting it to the guards, and they're like, their entire adventure is go over to the guardhouse and say, hey, you got some poisonous vines that the rogue was going to take a clipping of to give to you, and the vines like reached out and slapped him like hard enough to do damage, and now half of his face is like welting up. Sounds like an issue for the professionals. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. They're like, yeah, would you mind taking that clipping to the Mages Guild? This town doesn't have one, but the next town over does. And they're like, yeah, do you guys have a postal system to like mail this out or something?
I'm just not gonna do this at all. I don't know.
At all.
Yeah, no, fuck that. I got slapped by it. I don't want to carry it around.
And they're like, the person's like, well, if I can like safely trust you to courier this, then when you come back with the report of like what it likely is, then I'll give you like a little bit of a reward.
Right.
And like that was the thing that like the light bulb went over like all three of their heads simultaneously of me going, I'm giving you a quest, fuckers. And all of a sudden they were like, no more. Did they go, oh, this is probably an issue for the professionals? They just went, yeah, okay, we'll take care of this.
Oh my god.
That's so good.
Yeah.
How do you miss that?
I've been DMing for like 5 years, and I have never seen a party just go, yeah, no, sounds like not my problem.
That's really funny. That's super good. By the way, welcome, Boo.
Hello.
Hello, Boo.
I have food. I'm eating. So,
yeah, you're fine. Absolutely. All right. Well, that's pretty good.
Are we still doing comments?
Oh yeah, we haven't even gotten past the first one because we got sidetracked immediately. Don't worry about it. We're almost done with it. There's only one more paragraph. Yeah. So originally the point that I had was with the range, or sorry, the zone mechanic, instead of like actual ranges that you would measure out or anything like that. Again, I see it better in a system where it's less combat heavy and less combat focused, I guess. Because like vampire, you don't really want to get into combat, even though you're a vampire. And like something like Call of Cthulhu, you don't want to get into combat usually. So I can see
you're trying to preserve the masquerade.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So like both of those systems, I'm fine with it never having like a map or anything or like a grid or anything like that. We just go, this is however far you need to go. I'm fine with it. Like if I'm in combat, something wrong has gone, like something bad has occurred.
Yes.
Yep, distractions. Not the meaning of life, the issues of society and such, but the issue of Star Wars. Yes. We did get hung up on that for a little bit. But anyway. Last paragraph here. Also recommending people to buy the battle tomes to get more lore instead of telling them to look up, one of the... Also recommending people to buy the battle tomes to get more lore instead of telling them to look up one of the many lore channels on YouTube seems odd. I get that it's not official and all, and it might feel a bit cheap as they're free to access, but their entire purpose is to provide the lore in a various number of ways. It feels like an especially strange recommendation to give people who are new to Warhammer. You buy the book to read up on the lore for that TTRPG you're excited to play, and when you sit down, you're faced with a bunch of rules for a different genre of game. I don't know, this reminds me of the old, no, really, I buy Playboy to read the articles bit.
Yeah. Now, at least in the battle tomes, the lore
is like right in the beginning.
Separate. Yeah. It's all in the beginning, and the lore is pretty much all completely separate from the rules. So there is that, but yeah, it is still very stupid.
Yeah, again, we said it before, but like, there's no reason to make you go out of the current book that you're in order to establish like the lore that you need for this world. Or that
there's no need to make somebody go play Fortnite to figure out what Palpatine said.
Exactly. I think that was exactly one of the ones that you used before. But yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that was the first comment. Good job, boys.
Especially not when channels like Luton exist.
Yeah, absolutely. Luton, Book of Choyer, fucking
Lorehammer.
Yep.
Like, you know what? Like, Luton may like Blueberry Boys, but I'm not going to hold it against them.
That's fine, yeah.
Viking Space Marines is fine. I just don't want to play them.
Yeah. I've said it before. I've become a plastic crack dealer for some friends.
Nice.
And I bought the recruit box for one of my friends for his birthday. And it has Space Marines and Necron in it, right? And I gave it to him, and he was like, "Oh, fuck yeah, that's awesome!" And I was like, "Sick! I'm glad you like it." And he made the Marines first, and then he made the Necron. And at the moment, it feels like he's more going towards the Marines, which I'm totally fine with. Like, that's fine. Like, I'll fight Marines. I don't care. Like, whatever. We'll do it. We'll do it live, right? Like,
well, I mean, Necrons do stand a chance against Marines.
Necron at least, yes.
Yes, not well. Orcs, maybe.
Orcs might.
Codex, maybe.
I'm interested to see how the new DACA weapons like will fare instead of having the exploding sixes. To have that range thing, which it makes a lot more sense in the sense of, or it works a lot better in the sense of, your orcs are pretty much going to try to jump into melee as soon as possible, so they'll just keep advancing and they'll get into that DACA range. But yeah. Anyway,
it's called the Green Tide for a reason.
Exactly. I hated that. Yeah. Dealing out the back of your car. Actually, you're not wrong. I did have the gifts in the back of my car when I went over to the party. I got them out of it and gave it to them.
You even did the whole like crack dealer, the first one's free.
Yep.
Well, no, what you needed to do, add all that together, but then wear a fucking trench coat and then pull it out.
I wish I had. It would have been hilarious.
Or a duster or something.
Yeah. You've got like a trench coat with a box of D6s inside,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Hey kids,
Yeah.
want to try some D6s?"
Yeah. But yeah, but now I also have like easy things to get them for Christmas if need be,
Nice.
right? Like, I got one of my friends Sororitas and the other one the Recruit box.
Nice.
Because I was like, when I was showing, because as Aiden can also attest, we talk about Warhammer just in general on occasion, and like.
How I invited you to a Discord server specifically because I had no one to talk about Warhammer with, and I was like, I missed that. You know what? Here's a way to fix this, Alejo.
Yep. And so I'll do that on occasion in private conversations with people, and this group chat I was in, I was just kind of like, look at these models, they look so good, I have no money, I want them for a while, right? And so it became a blossoming thing as I was like, yeah, you can build them and paint them, and then you have these rules and you can fight with them and you can make little terrain and and then when we had our in-person D&D for a little while, I was building and painting them while we were playing.
Oh, you asshole, you were advertising it.
Yeah. Oh, I was going all the way with the subtlety of corruption. Oh, it wasn't subtle if you know. It wasn't subtle if you know.
It was GW being subtle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they were working through me. Chaos had taken me, and Chaos, in this case, GW. And,
all according to plan.
Yes, Zinch was right there beside me going, and so I got them into it.
Nice.
Dude,
spread the corruption.
Oh yeah.
To be fair, I made the God of Knowledge in my campaign. His name is Igni.
Right. Yeah. Remember.
And I made him pretty much a mixture between Sinch and Yogg-Sothoth.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
Specifically so that like his motivations were unknowable, and I could hopefully get players to be like, "What? I don't get this," and I could be like, "Oh, well, there's something similar to that. His name is Siege. He's pretty cool."
Yeah, absolutely. Isn't GW having a war with fans over the use of 3D printers or something? Oh, probably. That doesn't surprise me.
That's been a thing for a little while.
Yeah.
But their most recent fuck up was them basically nuking channels that were doing like animations fan stuff.
Yeah, that was.
And they're like hit with cease and desists and stuff. So
I'm actually curious on how many that is actually affected, because I don't see that to anything but Astartes, just because they bought them out.
Well, the problem is that it's not that it has affected many people, but they have basically just put up barbed wire, and you can't cross it, and now you can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Even though Astartes is because you guys saw Astartes, of course.
Yeah.
And you know how fucking awesome it was, and how many people got into the hobby specifically because of animations like Astartes or TTS.
The hobby made money?
Right?
We must shut it down.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I know, but the other thing is, like, I want to know how many people are just, like, are not doing it because, or not doing it because, but if anybody has actually heard anything from GW, because again, I said this before, but some of the things that I follow, they have, like, some have even talked to them and been like, no, you're fine. Right? So
that was specifically in relation to lore channels. So people like Luton and Lorehammer, they're fine. Because they needed to know.
Gotcha.
Because they were scared that, like, are we even allowed to post lore videos? And they asked about that, and they said they're fine. But no fan animations, no.
I feel like if anybody were to actually fight it, though, fan animations are fair use, like 100%.
But yes, but the
nobody
people
has
who do
that
the
money.
fan animations probably can't afford to get.
Nobody has that money to fight it. So
exactly,
you're right. That sucks. Anyway,
yeah.
That reminds me, there's a Saxon album with a space marine on it, and apparently how that came to be was Games Workshop offered the band's manager free minis for life, which is the best kind of bribe. Dude.
That is a really good deal.
Holy shit! I hope
you
that's
know what
true.
sucks actually. Now that you say Space Marines.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Games Workshop tried to
copyright.
Games Workshop tried to copyright the word
I remember
pauldron and halberd. In Space Marine.
That.
Yeah. They tried to copyright those words.
They weren't even the inventor of Space Marine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's another thing. I
remember Space Marine, and I was like, yeah, there's no way they win that. But
yeah, no, they don't win that.
No, but like,
and you can't copyright a halberd.
No, or pauldron. Jesus.
Or pauldrons.
To be fair, companies do shit like this when they test the water and try to get away with shit.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just hilarious that they tried to copyright a weapon from like what? Well over 1,000 years ago.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So fucking stupid.
Anyway, hey, let's get to the second comment.
Yeah.
This one is from Lux. It's kind of short.
Oh.
So this is from last time. I guess I don't have a lot to say this time. I still don't really know a lot about Warhammer, and these videos mostly stuck to an informative format with a lot of opinion. Some opinion, or without a lot of opinion. Some opinion, but nothing I can really dig into. So not a lot for me to contend with here, and I'm much too sleepy to even be alive right now. First video was good. Can't complain. I'd probably like to take part in a Warhammer RP at some point, if I ever got the opportunity. Though when I run a game, I usually want to make up my own setting, so I don't know if I'll get around to it. Sounds like the setting itself would be worth reading, though. Oh yeah, absolutely. Second video was okay. Not the best, but worth something. Definitely said a lot of things that weren't useful. But overall, it did move me from having no opinion on Age of Sigmar to having some interest in it, which is good. So at least there's that to say for it. As a blonde person, I definitely like the concept of a world caught up in an unending war between gods and their followers. What does that mean? I don't get that.
Does it have something to do with sunburns?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Or the Third Reich?
I don't know.
I mean, Aiden, you would know.
Clarification, please.
I am not... Oh, that's right. No, I am still SneakyAdolf on this. It's Steam. I changed.
An entire world filled with legs just waiting to be swept. Okay.
Nice.
And now that I've gotten a bit of sleep, I'll just go ahead and trim this comment down to what's actually relevant and cut it off right here. Hate the shortness, but not a lot I can do about it. Well, there you go. That's the shortest one Lux has ever posted.
I love all of Lux's comments. It's great.
Yeah. Right, and then that was all that. So, that's all the comments for today. Hey, Ronald. Well, you're just in time, because we're about to start the first video. So today, we're gonna be talking about, like, tedious things, and how we can make them more fun. And if they matter or not, really. So the first video today, to explain this, is, does food, encumbrance, and ammo matter? What to track or not in D&D 5e. Now,
could I get a link to the thingy?
Yeah, sure. Give me a second here.
What? Oh, the Watch Guide. My bad. We already have that link.
Oh, okay.
Whoops.
Gotcha. Yeah, you're good. But yeah, so we're gonna see what is said about this. Now 5e is, at least in my view and in a lot of games that I see run, it doesn't use encumbrance much at all. It doesn't use like ammo much at all, but food is still there. Yeah, people still care about food because it's kind of like necessary for you to be alive.
Yeah,
I need it to live.
Yeah.
Even I think I agree, yes, but I think the only issue with food is that it's not really given much attention, like, at all. It's basically just, do you have ration? Yes.
Yeah,
Or
that's
no
also
food.
true.
And that's pretty much it. I wish that food, like, I wish they had actual, like, systems for different kinds of food, or, like, if you're in this environment, what does it do to your food generally, you know?
Right. Yes. Thank you, Ronald, by the way, for letting him know. Anyway, go on.
So, actually, I have something kind of related to that.
Absolutely.
Because I buy food in my campaign for my character, and every
crazy
every single time I'm like, this is kind of a drag, because it's literally, do you have 3 rations? You're good for today.
Yeah.
Yay. That's it. That's the entirety of that system. And I wish that system could be a bit more, like, in depth.
Well, so this is oh, I'm sorry. Continue before I interject.
And I get that older systems had, like, if you spent 24 hours in a dungeon with anything short of an iron ration, your food goes bad.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Which is, like, cool, but, like, not really scratching that itch I have. I want, I don't know, like, nutrition, I guess, to be a mini game. I don't know. Like,
or at the very least, more. If it's not like if it's not nutrition, at least like food groups. You know, like you need a grain, you need a meat, you need a vegetable or fruit. You know what I mean? Something that's very broad but still has some categories to it.
The closest I get to it is something that is a mechanic in some campaigns and not in others, but it's how heavy water is to transport. Like you need fucking barrels of that shit, and if you're gonna have barrels of water, you need a cart.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's true.
Absolutely,
that is true.
Because like, I work in a produce department, and 2 of the fucking heaviest things that we, well, not 2 of the heaviest, but I'll tell you right now, grapes and oranges are fucking heavy. And it's not because a grape is heavy. It's because it's like 90% water. You're just lifting up a box of water.
Yeah.
That shit's heavy. Same thing with like celery or cabbage or lettuce. God, fuck iceberg lettuce. It's a box of water.
What I was gonna say is, this is why I kind of want there to be something like a reason why eating well is important, right? It's like the whole spending money to sleep in a better inn, like that I was talking about a long while ago. Of like, you get maybe a little bit of a rest bonus because you slept in a really nice place for a while, you know, like something that actually makes it so there's a mechanical benefit as well. But it can also be more for RP, just to, you know, you just eat well or you just sleep well, whatever. But you can also go like, oh, it's also something here to make you go, let's do it, you know?
Because like, hell, even in Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, if you sleep in a bed as opposed to using like a bedroll or waiting, you get a rested bonus and you gain more XP. So I
Same thing for WoW.
Yeah, exactly. Although that's
it's
think
more
that's just
going
not
to
playing.
It's going to a being in a city for a while.
Oh, right.
I believe something like that.
Yeah. I remember that. It was either being in a city or being in an area like an inn or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I would like that a lot. And it's not unless you're sleeping in like in a fucking ditch behind a brothel, you know, you won't get any negatives.
I sleep in a bed of syringes. Used syringes.
Yeah, they're probably
it'll be fine.
Diseases. Yeah, it should be fine. But sleeping in like a tent or in a regular, like just a kind of like a low income inn, that wouldn't be bad.
No, it wouldn't do anything negative, really.
Yeah. Unless you go out of your way to sleep in a shithole.
Right. Yeah.
And then if you sleep somewhere nice or hell, even average, you know,
you're fine.
Benefits. Yeah, because because like just thinking like the real world. You sleep out on a fucking in a sleeping bag. Like you go camping, you sleep in a sleeping bag, and you sleep in the wrong fucking position. Your back is fucked up for like the whole day. It's horrible. And just think about how you feel when you sleep poorly. You know, getting good sleep is important.
Absolutely.
And so you can really easily apply that to role playing. It's great.
Absolutely.
I recently did something similar last Sunday where the party went to the town's one inn, and the sign was torn off the chains. There's like a bunch of holes inside of the building from people vandalizing the building.
With their kids,
yes, clearly. And the owner just didn't care. He was like a retired adventurer who was like, I'm like obscenely wealthy already. Like,
no.
What are you going to do? Like, damage my hotel? Oh no! Come in and pick a fight with me? You can. We'll see how that goes for you. But my character, despite being only like 12 years old, like saw this shitty building, and he had a run-in with two other kids from the town who were getting bullied. One was a drow, one was a half-elf, and they were getting bullied by a bunch of humans. So he walked in and cast invisibility on both of the kids and himself, so it looked like they teleported out, and the bullies fucking freaked out because it's magic and they don't know what that is. So before, he was like just helping the kids out of like the kindness of his heart, and then like took a look at the inn and was like, you know, the half-elf, her family owns a winery and probably has better digs to sleep in. I'm gonna see if I can like bum a guest room. So I've been trying to implement that a bit more, the whole quality aspect.
Gotcha.
Because it's super easy to not care about quality when it's a role play character, and like you don't care, you're not the character.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's something that you could steal from Call of Cthulhu and try to input into D&D. It is the I forget exactly what it is. It's like a wealth chart, effectively.
Oh,
and
like
so,
your credit rating thing?
Oh, it's a chart based on your credit rating. So like if you have a credit rating, or you have cash or whatever of this level, then you are poor, you're destitute, you are middle class, well off, etc., etc. And depending on your credit rating, you can just readily afford higher level shit. And so if you have this kind of thing where it's like your characters are routinely around this money level, they're around here, and they can afford this type of stuff readily, you know? Well, and that would be a pretty thing.
Oh, sorry, go.
I think that would just be a pretty easy thing to implement, because it's such a simple system in Call of Cthulhu.
It is, but the other thing that goes into credit rating is like your reputation as well. How likely are you to pay back your loans? You know, all that kind of stuff, right? Which also can be implemented into something like D&D, where you go, what is your character's reputation in this city? Right.
Yes.
Have they done things? That would be
an interesting skill to add to D&D, like reputation.
Reputation, I think, is something that is like very much overlooked in that kind of respect, because it's like when your characters do good things and are like known to do good things, I feel like people are going to naturally look at your characters in a better light. Or if they do bad things, occasionally, then they go. Think of New Vegas. Right?
Yes.
Think of that kind of system where it's like,
infamy.
Oh, yeah, sometimes you do good things, sometimes you do bad things. You are looked upon in such a way. And people are going to treat you in such a way because of it. So I feel like there's some groundwork that we can do to like make that an easy thing to just slot in.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a bunch of things that people have said. I mean, so long as you have food supplied and aren't in a harsh enough environment, then it shouldn't be too much of a factor. Sure. If that's how you want to play it, that's how you want to play it, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
I finally got my groups getting into food prep. Nice. Funny thing is, RuneScape has a small region where your food has a chance to go rotten. It's a haunted swamp where those who die to it become ghasts. There you
go.
Ooh.
That new or old RuneScape?
Probably old.
Yeah, I don't remember. God,
because it's the only thing that people play. Nobody plays new RuneScape. That's not true. I don't know. I don't care about RuneScape.
Old RuneScape was the shit, man.
I could not understand why people liked it.
To begin with, I was like 14, so. And I learned to read and type and like spell from RuneScape, so.
I
learned to read at 14?
Fuck off. Okay, what?
Nice.
Okay, it definitely wasn't 14 then. It was way more.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you learned how to read just instinctually upon being exposed to text. You just like pick up War and Peace, not knowing how to read, but by the end of the book, you know how to read.
You know what it was? What it was? It wasn't reading. It was grammar. That's what it was. It was just better grammar.
Gotcha. Okay.
And what was funny, and this is a short one, don't worry.
Yeah,
the only reason why was because I was like, man, these people can't spell for shit. I'm going to be better than them and actually type the words right. That was it. I just wanted to be better than everybody.
There you go. Hey.
Fair.
You know what? That's a good way to better yourself then. Mog says, my rogue is our cook in 5e. Even got the cook feat for free. I have a PDF of all the special foods she knows how to make with recipes. I have a modified chuck wagon I bought, cowboy wagon. She has 2 trunks of preservation and a spice bag that has 10 charges a day. Heward's handy spice pouch. Very cool. I like that.
I want, if you're ever playing in a fantasy system, I want gourmand to just be a trait that everybody has. Please cook and eat monsters. Please. I want you to eat a fucking, like, cactuar, and then you have heat resistance or something. That'd be great.
Pathfinder Kingmaker, the video game, did camping and resting well. If you prepared certain meals, you got bonuses like a +1 to your saves for the day or a once per day reroll. That is true. Having played something like there's also Pillars of Eternity, Deadfire. If you play that game, it also has pretty good resting mechanics. You don't necessarily make the things, you just use resources in order to gain a buff when you rest. But also when you rest in an inn, you get certain buffs depending on the place. Like, some places will give you a better charisma, or some places, like in a brothel. If you stay in a brothel, it'll give you a better charisma after you go to sleep in the inn.
Nice.
But if you sleep in this like shithole over here, it'll give you like better sneak or something. I don't remember, because it was like a dingy place, right? Yeah, I think I haven't played too much of Kingmaker, but Kingmaker is pretty good. I should get back to it at some point. It is actually fun. The new one sucks.
Wrath of the Righteous, bro. Yep. Tell me about that.
Oh yeah,
he told you about all the hate comments he's been
getting? I was playing it with him. That's the thing. We experienced that together. It was bad.
Has he told you about all the hate comments he's been getting?
Yes, he has. And they're stupid.
No, he told me too. It's really stupid.
It's fucking dumb. Anyway, then why bother owning an inn if it's a dump? Yeah, just put holes in it. Fuck it.
Yeah,
right? That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I didn't get it either. Like, at end of the day, that's still your property. Like, you can push the whole narrative of come in and pick a fight with me and see what happens.
Fuck around and find out. That's the inn's name.
Dude, that'd be good. But like, if people are gonna vandalize your property, you should hunt them down and like beat their asses.
Yeah, stop them.
Straight up murder them. Then hang the corpses for the sign.
Dude,
yeah.
so he's a dwarf, right? We saw a dwarf deliver a people's elbow.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
Despite the fact that he only fell like 2 feet,
No, it
a
doesn't matter. He's a
dwarf
dwarf.
delivered a people's elbow.
Yeah.
He's got this. First step to Monopoly, yes. I play both RuneScape and both RuneScapes are evenly populated. If you get membership for one game, you get to play both games fully. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Pretty cool. Disappointing about the new Pathfinder game. Yes, it sucks.
Yeah.
I wish it didn't. I actually am really tempted to, when I get paid, to buy it, record the first like hour and a half, and like make a video detailing how bad it is in comparison to every RPG that's out right now. Like, it has the entire beginning tutorial really, like, the first impressions that game gives are fucking garbage. It's absolutely annoyingly trash, and it sucks because they made the first game, the exact same team made the first game, and the first game is really good in the beginning and actually got me into it.
But this one puts you out of it.
Yeah, the combat is fine, but the story and the writing of the characters is bad. Sorry. I'll make a video maybe someday. We'll see. What I like Wrath of the Righteous. Dude, you can like it all you want.
Yeah, you're totally free to like it.
Absolutely.
They just didn't like it.
Yeah, no.
It does not mean that you are wrong for liking it.
Absolutely.
Hell, I love Godzilla movies, like the old ones.
Yeah,
fucking
same.
love them.
Yeah, they're not good
They're
movies,
bad.
but they're great.
They are shit movies, but fuck, they're fun.
Absolutely.
I adore Pacific Rim because Big Mac punched dumb, stupid monster in stupid face.
And you know what? You know what game we all love a lot? Earth Defense Force.
Oh my god.
Giant insects.
True.
Giant insects that evolve into dragons.
Watch my buddy
giant
play.
insect that evolves into an Ergonus.
Yes. Watched my buddy play Wrath of the Righteous for a few hours, and I thought it was pretty good. The options are great. So they're good character options. From the tutorial, the options don't matter. You are forced to be a good person. Sucks when you want to play an evil guy.
Because Brogan was telling me, or no, not once, whatever Brogan was telling me that he apparently it is possible to become a lich, and he wanted to play a neutral evil character so that he could pursue that path. But the game was forcing him to be good, which it
immediately does.
Yeah,
it immediately does. It's really stupid. And the choices, if you do an evil choice, it does not matter in the beginning. Like, it does not matter at all. When you literally have the example of Kingmaker, where if you make an evil choice, characters leave your party because they do not like you. Like, they do not subscribe to you doing things that are against their alignment.
Yeah.
Whereas
remember this.
Yeah. Whereas in Wrath of the Righteous, the first option that you can do that is evil, the lawful good paladin does not give a fuck.
Oh.
Like, it immediately just never gets brought up. And again, later on in this tutorial, you can do a thing where you can forsake children in order to sneak away and not let them know that you have this power, and the lawful good paladin is still in your party.
What the fuck?
What law says you have to use your magic to help people?
The lawful good one.
Yeah, right.
Well, to be fair, like, that's not lawful though. Like, that, you choosing to not help someone out of the goodness of your heart, yes, it's a scumbag move, but that doesn't make it not lawful.
I understand that. What I would say
the problem is the paladin's oath is typically like help the downtrodden, help people when you can, and be a goody two shoes at all times.
If they're a lawful good paladin, quite usually, and especially with the gods in Pathfinder, you can look at Saren Ray and go, why would a follower of Saren Ray even allow this?
Yeah.
Why would they not allow you to? Why would they not even say anything? First off, says nothing. No dialogue happens because of this. By the way, not even a passing like thing to say.
Not even
why
like,
didn't you?
That was kind of dumb.
Yeah, why didn't you help those kids? I don't understand. Tell me why. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. When you do something inherently evil, and then the character doesn't say, hey, why did you do something inherently evil when I feel like we should be inherently good? I don't know how you can do this, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how they can make it that way.
But that is okay. I mean, because you don't have to play it, and you don't have to like it.
Absolutely.
Hell, if I don't know if any of you guys know this about me, I like the Tales games. I don't know if any of you ever knew that, but I absolutely
go.
Yeah, right. I absolutely fucking hate Tales of Graces. Hate it because it is so badly written. Where generally in the Tales series, the story and the character motivations are all very realistic, or at least realistic for anime.
Right.
And the people that you're playing as are intelligent people. But in Tales of Graces, they legitimately try to pull the friendship card.
Oh.
Where basically what's happening is the planet is being devoured by like a parasitic thing. And it's taken over a friend of yours, and you're going to the final dungeon to put it down. And they legit try to do, we can't kill him. He's our friend. Even though if they don't, literally every single person on the planet will die. And the planet will die.
Yeah.
So,
stuff like that's always annoying.
Yeah. So, no.
Yeah.
And yet, I got called out. It's like, oh, you can't be a fan of this series if you don't like this.
Oh, I fucking hate that. Oh.
I know.
Oh,
and so I'm like,
dude,
I'm a fan of this series because I love them so much. And when I see this being so bad, I'm going to call it out so the next one hopefully won't be so bad.
Exactly. I don't understand. Anyway, different thing.
Yeah, whole different thing.
It's a wage war against demons campaign. Yes, it is. And apparently the mythic paths offer plausible ways to be evil in the campaign, but the unlocks for them don't come during the tutorial. No, not only play the first couple hours. So that's the thing. Your first impressions are really important. And I don't think... that's...
Oh, sorry.
Well, in his video even, like, in general, first impressions are going to make you either fucking... like, play the game or not. And if your game doesn't give a good first impression, why should you like it? You know? Why should you go through more than a couple of hours
of not enjoying it?
And not, if you don't enjoy it, right? That was the whole thing. It was not fun, because again, I played this with him, so I can attest. It is not a fun experience when I already have other experiences that are so much more fun, and they actually care. Again, Pathfinder Kingmaker, the entire opening tutorial, I played through all of that and got into my first, like, little encounter off the map, off the beginning map, because I was having a good time, right? Like, I wouldn't have played through it a lot, and this is also coming from somebody who plays fucking Lego games 100%, even though most of them he doesn't like, because fucking, I've been playing Lego City Undercover. It sucks. I hate it. Man, is it not fun. I do not like it, but I 100% every Lego game that I play because I'm a fucking weirdo, alright?
Nice.
I'm subjecting myself to that even though I'm not having a good time. I'm getting so sick of it. But I need to 100% it because I have a compulsion.
So yeah, there were two things as well. One, the video is literally called First Impressions.
Yeah,
it's not,
exactly.
You know,
I don't know why people are so upset about it. Jesus Christ.
And then there was one other thing. So here's the thing. I also agree that okay. Well, let me think about how I want to phrase this because it's a tiny bit weird. I fully agree with having an opinion about a game after a couple hours of the game, because I asked him, because we talked about this last night, I asked, like, did the tutorial offer a lot of experience of, like, what happens in the game? Did it have combat? Did it have roleplay? Did it have, like, crafting, etc., etc.? And he said that it did indeed. And so when you're going through a tutorial and it's showing you the majority of what the game has to offer, you don't really have any reason to believe it's going to change a whole lot. Now, I used to be really, really stupid when it came to anime in this regard, because I tried, Alejo, you know where I'm going with this. I tried to watch the anime series Hitman Reborn, I believe. I don't remember what it's called exactly, but it's about a baby hitman is training a new mafia boss or something. It's really weird. And I looked, it was on Crunchyroll, and I was like, oh, I want a new anime. Found it, and it's like, wow, it's got fucking 15,000 5-star reviews. Holy shit, this must be something, must have something to it. And so I watch it, and 90 episodes in, I'm like, fuck me, this is not getting good. I'm done. It took me 90 episodes of being patient with that shitty show to be like, yeah, this kind of fucking blows. I don't know what the hell they were thinking with those reviews. So I am ordinarily a very patient person, but if you're going to give me an example of everything that the game has to offer and it's not living up to, you know, what is advertised, then I don't really have a reason to continue with it.
Yeah, it took me like 31-ish episodes, I think, of Black Clover, which a lot of people like Black Clover, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
Well, so, and again, I see, Ronald, you say, no, Nat doesn't have to put in 200 hours to play it. I would stop short of asserting it's a bad game after a few hours, though. So, again, I actually wouldn't... So this is the thing. If it gets better later on, great. That doesn't matter in the grand scheme if the first few hours aren't going to grip you, right? Now, granted, maybe it does get much better in the writing. Maybe it does. Maybe you gotta play through the whole game to experience how fucking wonderful it is. Great. I don't know. Again, or not again, but I haven't watched his video on it. I just know his opinion on it because I was there. And so
we've known each other for like what, 15 years?
Yeah, exactly. we've known each other forever. So like, and like, I don't know if he said specifically that the entire game is bad. I doubt it, out of good faith, because that's
I don't think he. Yeah, no, because he was talking like, because again, talk to him about it. Yeah. Like the combat is fine, and a lot of other stuff in it is fine. It's mostly just effectively the railroading.
Right, exactly. So like,
and that's a bad impression to start with.
And again,
because if I started,
sorry, no, you're good. Keep on.
Like if I start a D&D campaign and it's railroady as fuck, and I don't actually like let that be known that hey, there's going to be a railroad, but it's going to end. You're not. You wouldn't stay if I'm like, no, you can't do that.
Okay. I don't think he said it was bad, just that he wasn't going to invest time into it. Okay, then.
Yeah.
Then you're fine. Then he's fine. Okay, good. In which case, he has said nothing that should get all the hate that he's fucking getting. It's so dumb.
Yeah. It's again, a lot of people. It's a lot of people who are saying you like Pathfinder, but you don't like this. That means you don't like Pathfinder at all.
Right, which is so dumb. I hate that.
You must like everything holistically about a series to be able to like it.
Right, exactly. It's such a stupid fucking opinion.
Guys, we can't like D&D. We agree that 4E is trash.
Right, exactly, right? But
so and you know what the other thing is? Hey guys.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to like any Game of Thrones because season 8 was bad.
I don't.
Right. Exactly. I don't.
Okay.
It's been ruined.
Season 8 made me retroactively hate the earlier seasons. I've not gone back and watched them because it was so trash.
Sorry, I don't mean to skip out on a bunch of other people's comments right now, but Durant here says, and I need to read both of these. I mean, Wrath of the Righteous Adventure Path first book is very railroady. Since the game is based off the books, it's sort of bound by the story design, and admittedly the first book is rough at the first half. Okay, so first off, no. I'm not okay with this. First off, it should be, it's a different medium, first off, right? We can change it. We can make it better. I don't know why we need to make it exactly the same. If that's how Wrath of the Righteous is, I never want to play Wrath of the Righteous. Ever. I just don't. It doesn't give me a good... made it so that I do not want to play the Adventure Path now. Because if this is exactly as it is, nope. Not for me.
Because that reminds me of... you remember how you weren't all that into Stygian Reign of the Abyss or whatever it's called? Because it's effective. Yeah, it's effectively just one of the Lovecraft works.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it feels like they're just throwing in Lovecraft references because that was a Lovecraft thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I know how this ends because I've read it, so there's nothing that I need to, like...
Yeah, it's similar to that. Yeah. I was having a little bit of fun with it because I hadn't read the work yet.
Yeah, I want to.
So it was
actually,
a new story
play
for
it
me.
more just to see, but
it is.
Yeah, I bet. But even so, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least in my experience, it is.
Right. But anyway, something being based off of something that's not so good does not make it so that it needs to be that way. You know? Like, I don't know what that is. That's not... I will admit it's not a fun adventure path to start following the book. When I redid it, I scratched out the forced dungeon crawl at the start and focused on the war and in the demon-ravaged streets. Sure, yeah, that's... See, that's the thing. You improved upon it. So...
Yes, you changed it.
The other thing is... I don't know if Kingmaker was based on anything. If it is, that's neat, cool, whatever. But Kingmaker, again, the beginning of it can draw you the fuck in. It is? Okay. If it is, then great, cool. Okay, Kingmaker is. Good. Glad we're here. Okay. So, if Kingmaker is exactly the same in that kind of first respect, if it's laid out the same way, excuse me, that beginning thing, even though it's a railroad to, one, teach you tutorial stuff, and also to get you to interact with your party in such a way that you understand that the choices matter and that this will actually be a game that has roleplay in it. I don't want to stop stressing that Kingmaker makes it so in the tutorial, by the same developers 3 years ago, by the way. The same developers made it so in the tutorial you understood that choices actually matter, and that it's not just, you know, a dialogue option in Fallout 4. Okay? Like,
yes. That's true.
Having seen all of Fallout 4 and not having played it all yet, I already know dialogue doesn't fucking matter.
It's 100% true. It's 100% true.
It does not fucking matter. It's just a skill check.
The only thing that might matter, and I'm not 100% sure it does, is shit that, like, you know, speechcraft checks, basically.
Right. And
so, like, you might change someone's mind or get information some other way.
Exactly. But again, that's what I'm saying. It's just the skill check. Like, it does not matter. And that's what the beginning of Wrath of the Righteous is. It feels really weird that people are saying that this is really well written for these characters when they don't feel like they give a fuck when they are right in front of you and you are doing a bad thing. when literally
but no, I have to like Pathfinder.
Right, exactly. When literally in the very first fucking moment that you are able to go up to these characters and talk to them, one of them is under a rock, is fucking pinned. The lawful good paladin says, "Hello, could you help me move her?" And you say, "Oh, pay me for it." And then she goes, "Oh, fine, I'll do it myself." And nothing ever comes of that. And then, like, later on down the road, she never says anything of, like, "I don't trust you very much," or anything. Or, I really wish we had chosen to kill the first two guys that we had seen, even, like, just to see what would happen if she had said anything now. But, like, I don't know. Because that's the thing. That is what's bugging me. That is why I want to get that game and actually try that first few hours, just to get to that point and go, kill them, and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because then if they do something there, I go, okay, they have something later where it actually matters. But anyway.
And you were saying that Kingmaker is also in a book that had that kind of railroad stuff
If
in it
that's
in the
case,
beginning.
yeah.
But if that's the case, it still lets you have those choices and those consequences in the tutorial.
Yes, exactly. That's my whole point. If Kingmaker from 3 years ago completely like makes it so that you can then go, okay, this is my party because of my choices, right? Like,
yeah,
come on. Why would you not do that in the second game where it's, I have a choice, why do these people not care?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. That's enough defending Brogan when he's not even here.
Yeah, we're speaking for him.
Of course, as we have the right.
And we're speaking for you.
Exactly. Anyway, let's see. Anything else to talk about?
Spicy tonight. Guess that's what we get for being gone for like a year.
Yeah, I know. Swarm that rocks. Everyone leaves your party. I think it matters more in the second act. First act, you need enough people to get by at the least. I see. That's the thing. You can, if they designed it well, then that's not an expectation. You hate Neon Genesis Evangelion. I've yet to watch it. 100% agree. The only thing good of Eva is the red-haired girl. I've seen a lot about her. My hot take, OG Final Fantasy VII story isn't very good. I never played it.
I never played it either.
Some Mog says it's the best Final Fantasy and will fight. It's fine. Kefka was such a good villain. Kefka is a pretty good villain. Cool.
Because he's basically crazy, and that's it. But yeah, it's really different from other villains that they usually have.
Anyway. 1 month to finish the first storyline. Yeah, Kingmaker still has railroad features, but after the intro, it becomes a sandbox. Which, again, it feels like that should be the case for a Pathfinder game, you know? I don't know. Yeah. When we have something like Divinity, when we have something like Pillars of Eternity 2, when we have something like Pathfinder Kingmaker, right? These are just 3 examples that I can pull off the top of my head that all do such a thing that makes it feel like a TTRPG, you know? Fucking Fallout 1.
Yes.
Come on. We've been doing this for a very long time. Baldur's Gate, okay? Like, we've been doing this for a very long time, everyone. I feel like we're here and we shouldn't like just let this have a pass. I don't know.
But again, can't stress it enough. If you like the game, awesome.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't care.
Great.
Yeah, you're good.
We do not care.
No.
And you are not wrong for liking it.
No.
We always say that you cannot have fun the wrong way.
Yeah.
If you're having fun, you're having fun.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. I just want to stress to you why I'm at the point that I'm at, you know,
yeah,
so that you understand.
We do not enjoy it.
Exactly. Understanding is the first step, right? Like, if we don't want to talk about it anymore after that, I'm sorry, you're on the wrong channel. Because we're going to talk a lot about something. But you know.
It's usually an RPG related.
Yeah, usually. It'll be whatever we want at the time.
Or Warhammer.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't like some things in Warhammer, so I can't like Warhammer.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I fucking...
I'm so sick of this idea that, like, you got to, like, you must enjoy every part of a franchise and never ask it to be better.
Consume product.
Yes.
Because this is the same thing that I think caused writing to be shit.
Absolutely.
Oh, writing. I heard that wrong. I thought you said rioting. I'm like, well, rioting was always kind of shit.
No, rioting is pretty good, actually. No, but yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right.
Yes. And because you want to know what it is, it's tribalism. It's human tribalism.
Sure. Yeah.
It is.
It's true.
Because, we must all be the same in order to be on the same side, yada, yada, yada.
Anyway, let's get past this. I see all your stuff in the chat. I just, let's get to the video finally. We've talked about that enough. One other thing before we get there, though, that is on topic of the topic is, hey, do you guys care about encumbrance and ammo? Is that important to you?
I always keep my encumbrance very, very simplistic, where you can probably carry the majority of the shit that you have until you decide to pick up a statue. Then I'm going to be like, oh, okay, you can't do that, so how are you going to do it?
Right.
Yeah, I don't typically overly concern myself with it. Like there's the rogue, for instance, in my D&D campaign is a walking armory.
Yeah.
Now it's within reason because all of the stuff that that rogue has on their body, they have a place for.
Right.
It costs. I do something a little bit different where it's not always the full action to switch your weapon. Like depending on the size of the weapon, like a dagger is easier to bring out of your pocket, for instance, than a greatsword.
Yes.
So things tend to be a bit more loosey-goosey there at times. And can sometimes be like a bonus action. Just kind of whatever makes sense for what they're trying to do in the moment.
Yeah.
And yeah, as for encumbrance, typically is I use Boo's system of I won't overly worry about it usually, unless if you give me cause to.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair. And like for me, I like keeping track of my encumbrance, because I'm a fucking nerd and I like my numbers.
Yeah, honestly, even when I play, I keep track of everything that I do. I just don't tax my players with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Usually when I DM, I don't really think about it too much because 5e has gotten me to that point of like, does it actually really matter at this point of like, if they're carrying like 2 swords and like a backpack with a bunch of stuff in it, are they really? Am I really gonna go? Okay, well, come on, you know. And then like, but if it's like, yeah, take a statue on my back and just walk, I'll go, okay, wait a minute,
yeah,
you know, like. So I feel that definitely, and with like ammo, I like the idea of keeping track of ammo. The execution of keeping track of ammo is unfortunately not as good, right? Because for some people it becomes tedious. For me, I like the idea because it means they're spending money, which they have a lot of, and I want them to have less of it. But it also means that maybe in certain fights, maybe we would have interesting moments of where they have to ditch their weapon for a while and use something that they're less accustomed to. Just to maybe have some variance, just in case, you know, they might get, I don't know, bored with doing the same rotation over and over.
However, that does feel like an incredibly niche scenario.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It sounds better in my head, but I know in execution, it's not going to be that fun, right? Because it really just boils down to every time we go to town, you tell me one line, right? And then you're good, right? I buy 100 arrows. Okay. Right?
Yeah.
Like every time, and that's all it is. And I wish it was something better than that, but I want to echo what I saw in the chat here from Mog, or no, sorry, not from Mog, from Durat here. If it's basic stuff, it's fine, whatever, you have enough. But if it's unique stuff, of course.
Yes.
At that point.
Yes, absolutely. If you have just like regular arrows and then you have explosive arrows or fire arrows.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I do is I tend to say like when you buy your weapon, buy 30 arrows or whatever ammunition with it.
Yes.
And we'll just write it off and say you have enough.
Yeah.
And we won't worry about ammunition. But if you have like a +1 arrow, for instance, you best bet every single time you fire that, I'm going to be you got to go get it, And if you don't, oh well. And I'm gonna also roll a break chance when it hits.
Sure.
Oof. Very true.
It's like that makes more sense to me in that respect. Just obviously, like, it's a limited resource. It shouldn't be something that you have all the time.
Yeah.
But for ammo itself, I wish there was a way to implement what I want, in a way that would be more fun for other people, right? Because it would be fun for me. I think what I should do probably is just, as a player, keep more of a track of how many I shoot, just to like get that experience for myself, because that's something that I want, rather than force it upon others.
Plus, it does also add, if you are a ranger or
Yes.
or something like that, something that relies on your ranged weapon. It adds a lot of tension when you're like, oh shit, guys, we're in this dungeon. I've only got like a few shots left. I gotta really ration these arrows.
That's exactly like why that's the kind of scenarios that I want. Whereas most of the time we're in the forest and I can just like break a tree and make a arrow if I really want to.
You can make just a shit wood arrow.
Right. It'll work, but it's not like great. And I won't be able to retrieve it, but it's there. Yeah, I don't know. So ammo yes, encumbrance no. Fair enough. I go off what Boo says. As for ammo, unless it's for unique weapons, then basic arrows and bolts isn't an issue. Ammo, not really. We keep it as part of upkeep. Encumbrance is a mixed bag because everyone guns for the bag of holding ASAP. That's fair as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. And honestly, once you reach that point,
it's bag of gun.
Yeah.
It's hardly, oh, dude, now I just want to see a kind of like modern / fantasy RPG where you have a bag of holding that just has a belt of 7.56, and then you have a fucking minigun.
It's just you just pull it out, you set it up,
out of a bag of holding.
Hell yeah!
How many bullets do you have? All of them.
All of them. I have a whole factory in here.
Yeah. But yeah, once you have a bag of holding or like a haversack or whatever, it
doesn't matter anymore.
Because that becomes like, okay, now we really don't need to keep track of anything again until you pick up something that can't fit in there or is just too heavy to do. Like, remember how in Divinity you fuckers would just pick up barrels and yeet them?
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and remember that that one fight where I dropped I finessed like a barrel of oil out of my belt and like dropped it on like a hint of fire, and the whole staircase exploded.
It was so good.
I think one of us was on that.
Yeah. Oh man, that was fun.
Yeah, I think that was like at the beginning when we started playing Divinity.
Yeah, it was good shit.
Quite a while ago. But yeah. Let's see. I want a DM that showers me with GP. Oh, fair. Or a Patriot arrow from Men in Tights.
Oh, you want to play? You want to play with a GM that gives you lots of money? I do that.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
For better or for worse, I do that.
Well, to be fair, we did sell pieces of a demon lord.
Yeah, it's true.
In Pathfinder, gun ammo is more tricky to manage. Well, it's more that gun ammo is made by the player because of a class feat, but it requires gold to be spent. About 8 gold per shot. I'm cool with that. That sounds fine to me, because it feels like guns are a lot more rare. So that makes sense to me, at least.
Well, it depends on what kind of a class you're playing, because I don't know if you guys watch it, but Joe Cat has a campaign that's been going on, and it stopped for the moment because of Hurricane Ida, or Tropical Storm Ida, or whatever. But he has a character that plays under him, his name is Enoch Solomon, and he's playing an artificer fighter multi-class, I think. And he uses a gun, and what he does is he buys metal and then just melts down the metal and makes the bullets.
Does he have a smithy?
Yes, he's got like smith's tools and things like that.
Cool. Yeah, but like, does he have a forge?
I don't know. I don't remember. They might have included that in like a higher level Smith tools or something.
Maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, so obviously he had to spend money for the metal to get it, but depending on the situation, spending money to make them doesn't really make any sense if you can just buy the metal and then make it yourself. But again,
well, I feel like I think
how
that's what it is. I think that is the what it's supposed to represent is you're buying the material to make it.
Because it's always weird when it's like, I'm going to make this magic item. Okay, now pour XP into it. How the hell do you do that?
Well, it was just your magical essence. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
You think I understood that? I never did.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird.
3.5 had arrows that never break. They were expensive to make and enchant. Yep, that makes sense. Gunslinger life is an expensive life to get touch attacks. Yeah. But yeah, Gunslinger makes his weapons and ammos, which cost a lot of money and materials along with time. Okay.
Yeah.
Gunslinger makes bullets at like 1 gold per shot in Pathfinder 1. Okay. Maybe they changed it for 2.
Yeah, who knows?
But anyway, okay, so now that you have our opinions on that stuff, let's go to the video. Finally, at an hour and 45 in, boys.
Well, I mean, hey, it wouldn't be our podcast without a lot of fucking meandering.
Oh yeah, it's a good way to get back into the swing of things. So,
yeah, we have 2 weeks of stuff to get out of the way.
Exactly. So here we go.
How to handle food
in
Dungeons and Dragons. In general, when you have homebrews,
it'll take us
I
half
have
an
a
hour.
default homebrew that I would prefer for games, but I will change that depending on the groups. I've done a whole video on the channel already about how to implement homebrews and the whole process that I go through doing it. But in general, for myself as the dungeon master, I don't track food rations. You have food rations. It would make sense. You eat your food. You stop in. You swing by the tavern. We'll role play the big meal around the table as you share stories or whatever, and kind of relax and chill. I don't track food rations, and you should be okay to not track food rations. You don't have to if you're verisimilitude or you're trying to immersion in the game. Like, you don't need to be strict on, do you have food rations though? How many food rations do you have left? If that's not the style or the theme of what you're going for. But if I were to run Icewind Dale, guarantee you, I'd probably track me some food rations. I'd talk with the players at the table. What do you want to track? I talked with my wizard. I had a chronomancy wizard all the way up to level 20 player.
Damn!
And I asked the player, do you want to use spell components? How much do we want to track that? He wanted to literally micromanage his spell components and how many charges he had of each amount of dust, how much fabric, how much cloth. He wanted to track all that, and it was super fun for him to have to go find it. And there were some times when he ran out and they're in the middle of nowhere and he had to get creative. And can I use these ingredients to cast the spell? Super creative. I love that stuff. And he
so before we get too far away from the food part, I think it's a very good and a very important thing to note of, like, it depends on the campaign first and foremost. If you're gonna track food,
I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, like with what he's saying with like Icewind Dale, I don't know because nobody bought that book. Remember? But
man, I looked at it like a few months ago and I was nerding out because I was like, "Oh, this looks so cool!"
Right? Yeah, it does look cool, but nobody bought it.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is Dungeon Coach, by the way. I don't think I said that before, but yes, this is the Dungeon Coach. So, yeah. With something that is more focused on survival in a sense, something like, I assume, Icewind Dale, because it sounds like you're in a frosty place and maybe it's hard to get food. But like, there was an old Zbashu video where he was talking about how Goodberry would potentially ruin any survival scenario.
Yes.
Which it's true because it gives you a full day's meal in one berry. Like, you're fine for the day after you eat a berry.
And the problem was that it does not consume the material component. That's
it is just a thing that is there. You are good. His thing was doing a survival thing where they had to figure out how to stay warm while also running, while also getting food, all that kind of stuff. And that makes a lot of sense to track, but going back to, it depends on the campaign and what he was saying earlier of you should be okay with like not, because sometimes it will bog down your experience in such a way where it's like, or even it might even be so trivial as I go into town and I buy like 10 rations, I'm good, right? If you're doing the combo of no encumbrance no encumbrance and you're tracking food, then your food doesn't weigh anything, so you could buy like 50 things of food, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you would be fine, because traditionally they're around half a pound each, I believe. And if you get like 50 of them, you're at like 25 pounds. That's not much in comparison to your 50 pound set of armor that you're wearing all the time, that you're strong enough to wear, I assume. But like, if you've got a cart or anything, does it really matter that you bought 50 days worth of food and you just put it in the cart so that you can have that with you, you know? Is it really anything more than a expense of both your time and your money that, well, I like the idea of you spending your money, but is it really worth your 2 seconds to say, or more often than not go, all right, does everybody have rations before we go? We take a travel? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, then you can get rations. How many do you want? Okay, that'll be this much. You know, it becomes at the end of every time you're in a town, you go through that rigmarole every time because somebody might forget, right? And then you have to go, okay, well, you go here, you get them, nice, good. I don't know. It's one of those things where I like it. Again, I like this idea of having these things to keep track of, but I also understand, and I'm understanding more and more, that this is something that you don't have to, and it might even just completely make the game less fun for most of your table. Who knows? I don't know, but it really depends. And I also want to. Oh, sorry. I also want to point out, just the last thing. I like that he said, I talk to my players first about what they want to keep track of. That's important. Do that.
I was actually going to mention that because I have mixed feelings about that. I'm not quite sure how I feel.
Okay.
Because he said, do you want to deal with material components? Like, I, as a DM, would not ask someone if they wanted to do this mechanic. Like, that's something as a DM I would expect of them. But I do enjoy the fact that he said, like, how do you want to do this? As in, like, if you weren't dealing with material components, that's fine. I have something else lined up that would be equivalent.
So my impression was, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think he was talking about material components like all the time. Not just that your material pouch always has what you need for like the simple spells, but it will run out at some point. I felt like that was more the route that he was going, though that might be more colored that way due to the fact that he was talking about how the player wanted to get into the nitty-gritty. So I will say that maybe I'm wrong just because of that, and it influenced my viewpoint of it. But that's kind of more of the impression that I got.
But yeah, I do enjoy that he would, as speaking as DM, talk to his players, because it seems that a lot of these issues that we deal with just come down to a lack of communication.
Yeah. Like 90% of the time, that's what it is.
Hey, welcome to the world, everybody.
Like, speaking as someone who does have his players like keep track of rations, I expect them to be adults and know how to count.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think especially for materials as well. Keeping track of materials for like big spells is something that I would have as a hard and fast rule. Like, you want to you want to use fucking fireball all the time? Great. Do you have all the stuff for it?
Got a
Do you
lot.
have the fucking...
Better have a lot of guano.
Yeah, exactly. You got all the guano? You know, I just because like some things should be limited a little bit in some respect, and also that just means they're spending more money. Nice. But anyway, Dark Sun would be a good setting for food and water tracking. Yeah, I would assume so, just from everything that I've heard about Dark Sun. Should look into that at some point. It's apparently just hardcore, and that's cool.
Nice.
He loved it, and that's for him. If you have a ranger, do they want to track ammo or not? Just ask them. If they want to, sure. Come up with a system of how they're going to use it. For food rations, if you want to track it, cool, go for it. And I would just say every day you need one food ration. That's the most simple, like basic way of whenever during the day, sometime you have to use one food ration. And if you can get super complicated, like the size of the creature and times 4. And so large creatures have to have 4 pounds or multiples of 4 and all that kind of stuff. And if you have horses, they have to have the rations. And if you want to do that, go for it. But I would just keep it as simple as possible, 1 a day. And if you have larger creatures or horses or something, 4 a day.
You know, he brings up an interesting point that I never think of, is that your animals need food.
Yeah.
I always assume that they're grazing, you know?
Well, it depends on the animal.
Right, well, that's the thing. I always assume that they're always grazing, no matter what the animal is. I don't know why.
Yeah.
You know, but that's not always the case, now that I think about it.
Wouldn't it be cool to have, like, a fucking pet tiger or pet wolf, and then you just let them help with, like, hunting?
Yeah. They get some food, you get some food, you know.
Yeah.
Basically, the overuse of magic killed the world. Oh, that's sick.
Nice.
I like that.
And then at the end of every literal day, whenever you rest for the night or whatever.
As opposed to
and then if you have some sort of encounters or some sort of things that attack you at night, so maybe there's some sort of encounter that happens at night and they ransack your food stash. That if depending on how the encounter goes or how people roll, you could do a 1-round skill challenge. I have a video on that too. And if they fail, maybe they lose some rations instead of like what's the point of the encounter? They're just going to full heal anyway. Maybe the point of that encounter is to lower their rations and make them have to worry about food. Are they going to get stacks of exhaustion now? Do they have to start rationing out their food? If you want
to start rationing their rations.
I wanna also highlight that the use of keeping track of food also allows for things like this, where you have scarcity for some reason, one reason or another, especially with something that's trying to steal your food because it's hungry, right? Then you have the ability to not only introduce an NPC that might become a potential quest hook, right? Sorry, yes, whatever, same thing. But you also have then maybe a reason why, or you have another indication of what the area is like in terms of poverty or things like that. Like, you can tell a lot with that kind of a setting, or sorry, that kind of an encounter, where they find out, like, they look at these emaciated fucking goblins, and they go, oh, fuck, maybe. Or maybe they hate goblins, who knows? But yeah. You were going to say Aiden, sorry. Aiden? Oh.
Hitler?
Oh. Well.
We lost him.
He'll be back.
I like how that's always, I like how that is always our response to that shit happening. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Always that.
He's gone. Damn it. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically all I have to say about that. So until Aiden comes back, I guess that point is gone.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be a part game? Sure, then go for it. I've also say this. In general, I don't count encumbrance. That's another thing in this little category of ammo, spell components, rations, food. Encumbrance is something in general that I don't track strictly, and it's not like I'm like, all right, encumbrance check-in, guys, let me see it. Let me at the beginning of every session.
I would like that, actually.
In general, I don't track it. I don't run it super strict. But there was a time when my group was going to go into an ancient green dragon's lair deep inside a waterfall with a huge underground dwarven city. Super epic, super crazy. They were in there for 3 months in real life time, and this was a huge epic part of the campaign. And I told them before they went in, I was like, all right, guys, we're going to be running some encumbrance stuff during this section of the adventure. So from the point from right now until y'all get back, if you do, we're running encumbrance. Here's how it works. And so I have an encumbrance system. So if you want to know about that, there's a whole nother video. But I only use the encumbrance system during the section of gameplay that it actually mattered for to use it in, right? They're going to go into the city. They had to gather up some things that were pretty heavy things. One of them was an anvil. How are they going to carry the anvil? Who's going to carry the anvil? Like, how many pieces? There was so much treasure in this city. How are you going to get it out? You're going to a dragon's lair. How are you going to get it out? What do you want to carry? Do you want to carry the gold, or do you want to carry the gems, or do you want to carry the items? So it was, and I love that they got to have a little taste of tracking that type of stuff. So for food, if you want to track it, go for it. But talk to your players, see if you want to do it.
For the encumbrance point, yeah, I like the idea of doing it when it absolutely matters.
Yeah,
makes a lot of sense, because otherwise they're gonna just go home with hundreds of millions of gold in their pocket. Oh, don't worry about it. I got it all. It's fine. It doesn't weigh anything. What?
Yeah.
Money? Weigh thing? No. It doesn't make sense.
And then the little bonus tip here is, if you want to track things like this, if you want to track rations or supplies or whatever, you can have what I've ran before as a supply die, and you have a D12. Similar to my Wild Magic Homebrew Sorcerer, you have a D12, and this is your supply die. And if you roll on it, you make a supply check, and if it's general conditions, everything's fine, roll a supply die. If you get a 1, the die degrades to the lower dice. Or maybe if things are worse and things are bad and it's really cold or it's really crazy, maybe a 1, 2, or 3 degrades the supply die. And there's different scenarios and different things, different encounters. If they succeed or fail, it can change the DC of that supply die of a 1, 2, or 3. Keep it low, because I think the highest I've ever gone is like a 5 or something on a D12. And it was like, then they roll it to see if it degrades or not. And if it gets down to a D4 and you roll a 1 on a D4, you're out of supplies. That's a really simple way to do it. Time out. I have some big stuff going on over my Patreon, so you guys should check out. I do monthly PDFs of 3 different PDFs every single month with different themes to it. I got point by.
I assume this is the end, because we're at like 5 minutes and 10 seconds. Okay.
Well, how long is the video?
Only 5 minutes and 51 seconds.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's probably.
But cool. So I like the idea of a die that determines how your supplies are, and like that can diminish or increase depending on how you supply yourselves.
Yeah.
That sounds really interesting to me, just because having that conditional thing as well of like, it is super cold. Fuck, you know? Like, it's way easier to use a lot more rations, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, Aiden?
Has he returned? Has our boy?
I think so. Aiden? Oh.
I return to you now.
Hey!
God damn it.
He's back. Your internet died for a bit there?
No, I went to the bathroom. I said BRB.
Oh, I didn't hear that, at all. I didn't
even
pick
hear
it up. Yeah. That's alright. That's okay. Don't worry. We're at the end of this video.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, overall, I like the video. It's very short and very simple and easy to. It's so this is obviously just an opinion video, of which he's saying, hey man, it's okay to like not do some things or do some things, and like, yeah, you know, just yeah.
You can do stuff and you can choose to not do stuff.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, implement what you wish.
And plus, I also appreciate the examples and such that he's given of how he implements stuff, and maybe that inspires some people. Like, I actually kind of want to use the ration die now. Like, we start with the D12, and then like occasionally we'll make a roll to see, hey, are you still good? Oh, you are. Nice. Let's keep going. Or, uh-oh, you lost a bit. Well, now we're down to a D8. Maybe we'll lose more. Uh-oh. You know, like,
not.
It seems like a fun way to kind of show that off, as you've got enough for your journeys for now, right? Like, anytime you could potentially like run out. It really depends on your days and how much you're managing it, quote unquote. And plus, it makes people roll dice more, and people like
Yes.
doing that.
Well, we do. Not everybody.
Yeah, most people.
Oh shit, wrong way.
Yeah. What's the point of being a dice goblin if I don't roll dice?
Yeah.
That's true. You're right. But yeah, so that was a short one, everybody. I hope you liked that, because there's one more we have next. But it's been 2 hours, so it's time for the shoutouts and the shill talk.
Give money.
Wait.
Yes.
Okay, so
She'll talk over.
Okay, that's.
Oh my god.
Oh wow, very good. It's just. So, in case you didn't know, hey, we run the show. It's pretty fun. It's a good time.
We run the fucking show around here now.
We do run the show around here, and it is supported by viewers like you. Thank you. And you can become one of those supporters if you wish, and if you're financially able to and you want to. Please don't do it as an obligation. It is not. But if you go over to patreon.com /TableTalkDND, you can become like one of these people here on our patron list. Wow. That being
shoot out and shit out.
Right.
At them.
That being Draco Kraken up at that tier 3.
Don't you want to be like Draco Kraken?
Don't you?
He's a pretty cool guy.
He is a pretty cool guy. There's
also
also
know why he's a cool guy, because he gives us money.
Yeah,
damn it.
Look at how much we love and respect Draco Kraken.
God,
Don't you want to be him?
Okay.
On a scale of a tier
don't.
1 to a tier 3 likability, he's a what is he?
He's a tier 3.
Oh, he's a tier 3. Not exactly a Steely, but
Yeah.
Steely's also tier 3.
Oh, is he? Oh, I thought he was.
Don't you want to be like him? Don't you want to replace him?
Oh shit.
Anyway, we're moving on. Then there's Mog Zero, who's also been in the chat at tier 3. Thank you so much. Slazer, who has also been in there, also at tier 3. Thank you. We have Steely as well, who said he was sick today, which sucks. But you know, I hope he feels better. He's also at that tier 3, so thank you very much, Steely, for when you see it in the VOD. Appreciate you. Drake fuck. Mog says nope. We need a tier 4 so we can be better than Draco Kraken. Oh no. Don't do this to me. Then we have Drake Cross at tier 2.
The arms race of tier subs.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much, Drake Cross as well at tier 2. And then we have Chris at tier 1, thank you. Frozen Spaghetti at tier 1, thank you. And Kill Chrono at tier 1, thank you. We did lose a patron, but that is fine. If you are not able to give us money anymore, that is totally fair. Please, again, take care of yourself first before thinking about us. Appreciate it. But what I will say at this point is I have some plans for upcoming like show ideas as well as merch, and I would be appreciative if people do want to donate through the Patreon or through donations in general. If you would like to, please, again, don't see it as an obligation. It is just, it would help get these ideas and videos things to go forward. So again,
I'll just starve to death without your monetary support, so you're not obligated to feed me, I suppose.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
Just kidding. Just
yeah.
Please only donate if you can.
Yes, exactly. 3D printed golden mini tables merch when? Well, see, that's the thing. I have these ideas in my brain hole, and yeah, it's got a hole in it. It makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? But I have these things that I want to do to give back to our community, and definitely one of them is going to be custom dice bags that have our logo on them.
I have in fact asked for one.
Yes, you have, and I have looked into it, and I've got to look into it a little bit more just to see about pricing and such. But I do want to get that like sorted as a thing that can be bought, as well as something that I would ship out to those who are patrons. That just, you're already a patron, you might as well get something neato. The same thing goes for dice. The same thing goes for other things in the future potentially. But this is a thing that unfortunately requires money. And I have a plastic crack addiction, so so I'm not good with my money, but I promise you I will be good with your money, because it is made specifically for this show, right? I also want to hopefully like get some assets and such for future campaign stuff, you know, because Devils and Dice, as good as it is, as fun as it is, it gets bogged down by the fact that we use copyrighted music on occasion, and man, has that fucked us in the ass. It keeps going. It has gotten up there, and it has gotten to like 5 or 6 episodes now that are now restricted in some countries. So
that sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. So getting some music and such for things like that in the future would be super cool. But again, it all costs money.
Sorry about that.
No, it's cool. No, it's totally fine. It is what it is at this point. Unfortunately, I might have to just not put music on anymore for a while, until we either find some stuff that is okay to use just in general, like the D&D soundscapes. But if something is like, the Gintama stuff, I have to like put it down real fucking low.
We'll stop doing Gintama stuff.
Sure.
Unfortunately.
It sucks, but we can at least skirt the line with video game music until something else happens. We'll see.
Something else happens.
We'll see. But so anyway, again, don't donate unless you can and you want to. Again, I'll accept dice made from the broken corpses of Zerglings. Nice.
Oh man.
But the other way that you can support us, now that I've shilled out entirely for all of you, is the merch that we have, which is the logo that you can get on a shirt or a mask or anything that Aiden just found out about like a couple weeks ago.
Well, wait, what?
Remember back when I was talking about the merch, and Aiden just popped up and was like, "Wait, we have merch?"
Oh yeah,
it was the funniest shit. I gotta be honest.
I remember that.
It was so funny. So, but yeah, so that's a thing. If you want to go onto TeePublic, we have it on a bunch of different stuff. Perhaps we might move it to somewhere that's a little bit easier to get some stuff on in the future if we ever get a high demand. But again, that is a very far future thing.
And then also, I don't know if you knew this, Alejo, me and Aiden are developing a video game, and it's going to be on the Epic Game Store. It's the only place you'll be able to get it.
Yeah. Oh my god. The Epic Game
It'll
Store.
Never come to Steam.
Oh my god.
Fuck platforms that are good.
Right.
We intend on profiting off that Epic shill money.
Yes.
And also, Raid Shadow Legends.
Right, of course.
Remember
Gross.
that?
Epic Game Store. I do remember that joke. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah. Thank God, yeah. But
now YouTube is trying to sell me on some Warhammer mobile game.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so bad. Have you actually?
At least it's related to my interests.
It is true.
It is,
but it's not
still
a good
bad.
game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play it because it's a mobile game.
Yeah,
Exactly.
same. Like I ain't playing it. I'm just saying at least it's Warhammer.
Yeah. I watched a video on it and it went pretty in depth, and it was like, wow, this is shilly, and I was like, anyway, so yeah, money good, but also only give if you can. Please don't feel obligated.
Yeah, money good for us, but only give if money bad for you.
Yeah, well, no, that's the opposite of what I want. That part. Wait.
No, that's not what I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
That's not what I meant.
The other way, of course, as always, hey, if you've been here to this point and you're new, you should subscribe to the channel, okay? Because fucking get us to 1,000 subscribers, and then we can use community posts, and then I don't have to.
How long has this podcast been live?
2 hours, 14 minutes.
You're at 2.25 hours into a podcast. Chances are you're interested enough.
Yeah.
Despite hearing us ramble for 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
For some reason, you're interested in hearing more.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want us to get to 1,000 subs on YouTube, as primarily so that we can use those community posts, so I don't have to post a 2-minute video where I'm coughing and dying, telling you why we can't post content for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we want to be able to make community posts because the Spiffing Brit figured out that they're useful.
They're also very useful. But regardless of that, it is primarily so that we can inform you before I die, and and that way you know that I'm dying and all that. So anyway,
you can DoorDash Alejo some chicken noodle soup.
if you could, I guess. Anyway, so shut up, I'm dying.
That's right.
That was good timing.
Use your sickness to shill.
Yes.
Shut up. I hate this. Anyway, so by the way, again, if you didn't hear me in the beginning, and if you're coming in at the point that you're at now, and you saw that video and you were wishing me, better health and stuff, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing better.
If you are just coming in and you are new to the channel, Alejo smokes a lot.
No, that's not true.
So he's got a cough.
No, I had a respiratory infection.
Oh,
God damn.
Yes.
Infected with?
I don't.
Marlboro. So
No,
apparently-
no. I've never smoked. God. Anyway, so
He's never smoked, bitch. Oh.
I know, and I'm a real puss. I'll be honest.
I don't smoke either.
Yeah. So let's move on to the second video of the day. It is called "Making Encumbrance Fun in D&D."
Of all the
this
rules out
is
there?
by Questing Beasts.
Yeah, one of the guys that we really liked, if I remember right.
Yes, we really liked this guy and his stuff. So I figured, hey, why not get another helping of it? So let us listen to the man.
Of all the rules out there for Dungeons and Dragons, probably the most disused and derided rule are the rules for tracking encumbrance and tracking weight. It's not really hard to see why this would be. The rules are not a lot of fun to deal with. Even going back to early editions, you are tracking a lot of very fiddly numbers. Whenever you're picking up items, whenever you're dropping items, it would require you to recalculate all of your weight over again, and that's really not a lot of fun. No one likes pulling out a calculator in order to play Dungeons and Dragons. I think that's a little bit of a shame, unfortunately, just because actually keeping track of what you're carrying and how much you can carry and knowing when you have to drop something to pick something else up can be a really interesting part of your game. It can add a lot of realism, it can add immersion, and it can add interesting decisions into the game. So today we're going to look at encumbrance and weight tracking and see if there are some easier and more fun ways to do it than just writing down a list of the pounds of everything that you carry. I'm Ben, and this is Questing Beast, a show about old RPGs and the renaissance that is bringing these old systems back to life again. If you're interested in this series that I'm doing on old school rules and ways to improve your game, remember to hit the subscribe button down below and the bell icon if you want to get notified when I make new releases. Also, stick around to the end of the video when I will be doing a giveaway for an old school mega dungeon, a big old beast of a book, over 1,000 rooms to explore, and you can sign up to get your name put into the pot to receive it for yourself. So stick around to see how to do that. Before we get into ways to make this easier, though, let's think about reasons why we would even want to track weight in our game to start with.
Okay, all right. Why would we want to track weight in our games?
Yes.
I at least track it very religiously as Boris, because even though having a belt that like halves the weight of things on it,
and your shadow,
And your shadow,
like I have to do a lot of math when it comes to managing my inventory weight. I track mine just because, like, well, it comes in two parts. There's one, I am obsessed with the idea of a character that is not, like, horrendously strong, and, like, can't carry a shit ton of, like, convenient stuff. The second reason is I have this paranoia that the goblins have in my mind, that Boo will one of these days ask me, and where are you carrying that? And I won't have an answer, and I'll go, and I will look like I am cheating.
Well, you won't look like you're cheating, you'll just look like a dumbass. But it depends on what you are actually trying to get away with carrying.
Yeah.
Because if, like, you're trying to fucking pick up...
I could put a statue in my shadow.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you could.
A small one.
But you probably couldn't move. Your shadow would be, like, weighed down too much.
Yeah.
But it'd be like, I'm going to pick up this tent. And I'm like, okay, it's going to stay, like, fully open. How the hell are you going to carry a fucking tent?
That's not how packs of holding work.
But yeah, with it's definitely useful, especially for someone who has less than 12 strength. Just to, like, at least for me, it's definitely for the realism, because it's like I like keeping track of it, because having this magical item that I can have access to that makes it so I can carry more feels more like an incentive to get up to that point. And we're at that point now, but getting to that point, I was very, very, very careful of keeping under my light load limit so that I didn't get any penalties, because we're using 3.5 in our campaign, and like, in that, if you go into medium, you're just worse. You just you get -2 to, you get -2 to, like, your skills that are more movement based. You get a little less movement, all that kind of stuff, and it makes sense to me of, like, I'm carrying a lot of shit.
It's hard to move.
Very heavy. I've played enough video games where if you carry too much shit, you can't move. Like, that's not something I want.
Barrels in Divinity.
Yeah, and, like, playing Skyrim or playing fucking Oblivion or any of those kinds of things where it's like, oh, you're on the cusp, so you can barely move, so you go all the way to town, moving like 2 frames every 5 seconds.
I've done that.
We all have, right? But it helps with that realism of, like, I'm not a super mega man. I'm just, like, there, and I'm a dude, and my arms are spindly. How much do I carry? Plus,
hip.
Yes, hip. Plus, it's fun to me to see my number be as low but as efficient as possible. That is. Ooh, that gets the brain juices going,
There was one night especially where I, as Boris, like, I, like, rewrote my character sheet and, like, my inventory, and, like, each page became a separate thing in my notebook. And I had, like, my top section, which was my backpack, and weight of that got nulled out because I confused my backpack with my shadow. I had my, like, middle section, which was my belt, and, like, items on that got halved. And I had my bottom section, which was, like, stuff that didn't get halved for whatever reason. And at the bottom of each of those sections, I, like, wrote out the formula, and I was like, total weight divided by 2, etc. And I was like, it makes the accountant in me very happy.
Yeah.
I I like accounting. I don't know why. I just do like see numbers.
Should have been an accountant, not an RPG player.
That's the thing, right? Like, but the other thing for me at least is it makes me feel like all of my items matter a little more, you know, because it's like they have a weight, which means if I want more things, I either have to get rid of something or I have to find a way to keep these things, right? So if I have a home base where I can keep all my figures,
Yes.
then I have that. But if I'm out in the field and I have like all of these things on me that are really useful, and I find something else that no one else can take and I really want, then it's like, oh man, what do I get rid of? You know,
Yeah.
like what it really adds to that. Like everything I have has a purpose. So how do I justify getting this other thing? You know?
And the thing, one of the things that it does for me is when I start putting in the weight of all my items and stuff, it kind of helps keep the items fresh in my mind. Because a lot of times when you start out with your adventurers pack, sometimes you might forget what you actually have in that, just because you just when you don't pay that much attention to it, you don't really put any thought into it. It just kind of becomes so abstract in your mind that it actually just kind of leaves your mind.
Yeah.
And so actually putting numbers to everything kind of helps me, I'm not sure, it just quantifies it a little bit better and kind of just brings it to the forefront of my mind.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, let's see what he has to say.
Oh shit.
First big reason is because it adds more immersion to the game. Players are going to deal with the concrete reality of their situation a bit more when they can only carry so much stuff. They're going to look around for tools to carry. They're going to think about things that they have to drop. They're going to start curating their equipment loadout and start focusing on a niche that they're really good at dealing with. They're not going to be able to take an entire hardware store full of items and just dump it all into their backpack and have it just be good. They're going to have to think about what they're going to carry. They're going to have to specialize, and they'll have to pay attention to the world a bit more than they did before. The second big reason is resource management. So this isn't going to be true for every type of game, but it's generally true that if you're in a game where you can carry an unlimited number of resources, then the game starts lacking tension and starts just feeling kind of floaty, where things don't matter quite as much. Especially if we look at old versions of D&D, where you're doing dungeon crawls, where it's all about how deep can you get into the dungeon and still stay alive and be able to get out with your stuff, then having strict limits for what you can carry is super important. This is just because if you can carry as many resources as you like, then there's no limit to how far you can go. There's no tension, there's no risk and reward involved there. However, even if you're running higher level epic type campaigns, maybe with 5th edition, resource management can still be a big issue. The issue is just the resources are larger now. Perhaps we're dealing with magic items, perhaps we're dealing with powerful potions or weapons or things like that. Having players be able to carry everything means that what they carry doesn't matter as much. And it forces them to not have to make those hard decisions that they would have to make otherwise. Another big reason is that having a
I feel like there's also an equal part here that you should have as the dungeon master to try and not force, but definitely make it so
Incentivize?
Incentivize. That's a better word. Thank you. Incentivize the use of these items that you have in order to make it so they find them more useful. You know, they find these uses that they have for them, and thus maybe even though they can carry everything, it doesn't mean that everything is always available to them, you know, in a way.
It's kind of like actually in Devils and Dice, where you guys have access to a lot of things. Like you could buy, you have so much money, you could buy a lot of potions and stuff and just keep them at the house, but you don't always have access to it. You need to kind of get into that position where you are safe enough for Mocha to open up a portal that you could go back and grab it.
Yeah, I guess it's just like one of those things where I feel like the DM definitely has a lot of responsibility here as well as the player.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
just keeping that encumbrance, or not, sorry, not that keeping items having their meaning. If you are just leaving it so that everything is just whatever, you have it all, then you should also implement something that makes it so that everybody, or that at least you're aware that these items themselves have some sort of meaning. Like I said, with if you're making the incentive of, if you had used that, maybe it would have been easier, you know? Like, if you do something like that every now and again, of like, hey, this is an obstacle, right? And if you had used your I don't know, your box of nails. Fuck it, you're wearing a hardware store. Fuck it, let's use the analogy. You use your box of nails on this obstacle. It would have gotten into the little holes in it and gotten into the gears and fucking, you know, jammed it up. You wouldn't have gotten the nails back, but man, that would have helped, right? Like, instead of like trying to traverse it very, you know, as carefully as possible without trying to deactivate it some way.
Yes.
That's to say, if you don't have a rogue who has their thieves' tools or whatever, you know, fucking. But something like that, you know, in order to make it so this resource can become finite, even though it is technically infinite, if that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway.
A limited inventory where you can only carry so much stuff means that problem solving is going to be more of a focus in the game. And for me, that's a big deal, because I love the problem solving nature of D&D and the way that problems can be solved in an infinite number of ways. But when you have a constricted number of tools to deal with, it makes problem solving more fun, because you have to get more creative at it. It's a little bit like being a wizard. Wizards can't carry an infinite number of spells. They have a very particular set that they have to pick every day. And then part of being a wizard is figuring out, how can I use the spells that I have to help me out in the situation in which I find myself. So the same principle applies to equipment, in my opinion.
Yeah, actually, to go off that, then, the it makes it so that people who have bought certain things become those specializations, you know? If you have someone like Boris, say, Boris is very crafty with all of his shit. He is the guy I would go to in order to find the underhanded way to get past anything. Really?
Yeah. You know, if that's fair.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like, you have your glass bottles that you crush in your hand to throw into people's eyes. Fucking, you know, like, some people wouldn't think that, right? Like, you're definitely that fucking thug across the street that is employed.
Oh, keep it up. Praise me more.
But you get what I'm saying. It becomes that specialization kind of thing if you make these items definitely more limited, and thus each person can tackle a problem differently. And maybe they could all tackle the same problem, and each of them would come off with different results. But you know, that just means you've made a good problem that can be overcome by everybody, but also it means that, you know, everybody has that thing where they can feel like, hey, I did it, you know. I
did it in my way.
Yeah, exactly. And I used what I had to overcome it. So
that means a lot more fun. When you make a puzzle that can be solved various different ways, take notes on it and keep it in a notebook and save it for if you run another campaign with different people.
Absolutely.
When you only have a grappling hook and a file, and you have to figure out a way to deal with whatever bizarre trap that you are faced with. There's a fourth reason.
God, I only have a grappling hook.
I'm so disappointed, because I expected him to be like, how do I get across the street in under 5 seconds? And I was going to work on finding a solution.
No, he left it vague, so you couldn't, you dick.
I know, I hate it.
And that risk and reward of figuring out how much can I carry in terms of how much treasure can I acquire and still be able to get out of the dungeon alive.
Sure.
This is especially the case if you have a system where your encumbrance, the more you carry, the slower that you go. So as you pick up more and more treasure, that can mean more and more experience points after the dungeon, because XP was often rewarded for gold. but it also means that you move slowly, you move more clumsily, and you're more likely to die. So that balance of risk and reward can be a nice source of tension if you're playing that sort of game. But all of this is really for nothing if you don't have a system that makes tracking the weight and tracking the amount of stuff that you can carry really simple and intuitive. This is the big problem with the way that the rules are now. If things are onerous and cumbersome to deal with, players will just ignore them. So it has to be really simple, and players have to enjoy interacting with it. The simplest solution, which I recommend that pretty much everyone use, is just item slots. So instead of tracking the individual weight of items, what you're doing is you're just tracking the number of items that you have. The vast majority of items just count as a normal item. So roughly 3 to 5 pounds, about the weight of a sword, say, is a good unit for a standard item. Really small items like pieces of chalk, for example, wouldn't really count unless you're carrying a huge number of them. Same thing for coins. A good rule of thumb is that maybe 100 coins equals a normal sized item. And if you're carrying really large or bulky items like pole arms or heavy armor, or you're trying to carry an entire chest full of treasure, that might count as 2 or 3 normal sized items. So what you do
Unless
is
you're
you need
playing
a
Sea of
system that
Thieves.
tracks how many.
So actually, I have something kind of related to that because in the campaign where I stayed at the kid's house because they're the kid that I rescued.
Right.
I am a little baby like warlock. I'm like level 10 and I'm 12 years old. Just because the rest of the party's all level 10 and I have in-game reasons to be where I am. But I have 38 gold on me at level 10. That's the entirety of my possessions in this world.
Nice.
Meanwhile, the gunslinger in my party has like 10,000 gold.
Oh, of course.
With him. Because he's been there since the beginning, and like that's good. He's the party sugar daddy.
Yeah. That makes
but
sense.
at the same time, like even last Sunday, I was thinking, I was like, having you just have 10,000 gold on you as just a thing is a bit odd. But he's also got a bag of holding where he keeps most of his money. So he's fortunately at least managing it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about this idea of slots for your items. And I assume it's something like you remember when we looked at Blades in the Dark, and 10k GP is a minigun for him. True. But we were looking at Blades in the Dark, and it had something kind of similar that used a slot kind of thing, in the sense of you had like one heavy item, one like medium item, or however many of these items that you had, you could take with you. And it worked enough for that because it was like, oh yeah, you're all going in and you take what you have, and then you mark that onto your character, and then you can all take the same thing, or you can take different things. It's up to you. And it felt like it worked in that just because there wasn't a lot of like equipment. Like what you had for your character was the amount of equipment that would be in the game, whereas with D&D, there's so fucking much that you can get. And like, yeah, I feel like limiting it in some way is a good idea. But slots make me think I could weigh myself down with like 5 bags of gold because they're all a normal sized item and I can only have like 5 of them. And then like maybe I have an armor slot and a weapon slot, and like it depends on what he's gonna say next, but at the moment slots is making me go
Yeah, it also disregards people who have a play style like me and Boris, where I have 50 different, like, normally, like, I have a paperweight in my inventory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, why is that going to ever be useful? That's for Boris to find out.
Right, exactly.
And it's also, with a slot method, that
Yeah.
paperweight weighs the same as your halberd now, because they
Yeah.
both take up one slot.
I was gonna say, yeah, if it's like
use
5
that,
pounds.
Games Workshop will sue you.
Yeah, halberd.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, no, I feel like it's obviously like up to the discretion of this will weigh nothing, quote unquote, you know, like you said with chalk. Like if you just had a thing of chalk, you're fine. You know, that's not gonna weigh you down or take up a slot. But if you had like 50 pieces of chalk, then it'd be like, okay, well, that'll be a normal slot. Which, again, I understand, but again, it feels, I don't know, it feels like it could cause some sort of problem.
And it also seems like you could kind of game it a little bit, because it's like, I want one piece of chalk and one of these and one of these and one, you know,
right? Which
since they're all different items.
Yeah,
we can't really group them together.
Right. Yeah, which you can already kind of do, but that's because they weigh nothing and it doesn't matter usually, unless you use it creatively, which is what you do in D&D. Hey, crazy! You're creative in that game. What?
What? No.
I only follow a predetermined path. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I fucking only watched Tulok the Barbarian. So I'm not
Oof.
Yeah, big oof. Anyway.
But yeah, I don't know. So let's see what he says about it.
Yeah. Items you can, and then you just look at the items in your inventory and count them up. And depending on how many you have, you're either encumbered or you're not encumbered. It's dead simple. Players seem to really love it. It's easy to track, and it just gets out of your way while leaving the benefits of tracking weight and encumbrance still intact. The very first example of
So everything, if it's 5 pounds or so, it's a normal thing. If it's over that, I assume it's a heavy thing. And if you count up the number of normal things plus the number of heavy things, then whatever that equals is either your encumbrance or not. And I assume your encumbrance is tied to your strength somehow. Maybe like 4 times your strength or something, right? And then you're good at that point. Which again, it sounds simple, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's rubbing me a weird way at the moment.
And not in that good way.
No, not yet. We'll get there, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. A little bit more to the left.
This that I've referred to was in the 1985 game Dragon Warriors. In that, the number of items you could carry was, I think, 6, 8, 10, 12, or 14 items. And that was based on your strength rating. That would determine how many items you could carry. Sure. It was really simple and straightforward, and a big improvement over a lot of the games that had come before that. If you are aware of earlier games that use this kind of slot-based encumbrance, please let me know in the comments below, because I would be very interested to hear about that. Today, it's most likely to find this kind of slot-based encumbrance in the old school Renaissance.
So again, what I would like for that point to really hit me better is for you to tell me, like, if there were a lot of items, right? Because I feel like the amount of usable items really makes a difference in the sense of, like, how much you can carry, you know? Because otherwise, you can just tell me that you can carry 14 items, and I go, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, I understand if I get a sword and armor, that sounds like 2 items. Is a pile of gold 1 item?
Yeah, or how much gold constitutes an item. Exactly.
I need to know more for this analogy, or sorry, this example to really hit home.
Yeah.
Or OS. These types of games place a big emphasis on resource management. So you have to have a rule like this, and slot-based encumbrance just makes things easier. It's been a bit disappointing to me that more big-time players out there aren't using this type of rule and are still defaulting to tracking the number of pounds that you're carrying, since I think everyone's aware that no one really uses that by now. There are a few exceptions, though.
Nobody uses that?
Pathfinder 2
no
system,
one really.
This is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only encumbrance system that I hear being used. Is the pound system.
Yeah, because I hate to burst your bubble, but the default system in D&D for Encumbrance is a numbers system.
Yeah,
and
it's
not many
really
people are going to go
easy.
out of their way to build a whole new Encumbrance system when
No.
they just want to play the game.
Yeah.
When they've been given an encumbrance system.
It's incredibly easy. Even in 5e, it's incredibly easy to implement.
Barely an inconvenience.
Yeah. Quite literally, your items right next to them, they have a poundage. If they're even poundage.
But nobody uses that.
Nobody uses that.
Nobody.
Not many, at least.
No big time players. They earn the
has
big
its
bucks.
clean system. Where I think the general rule is that you can carry 5 bulk, is their term for it, plus your strength modifier in large-sized items.
You taking a shot at
They have
Pathfinder?
other little rules like a small item. 10 of those will count as a 1 bulk.
Yeah,
and then really
that is
small
Pathfinder.
items like chalk wouldn't really count. And I think you can add on an extra 5 bulk if you want to be encumbered, but no more than beyond that. So it's a basically slot-based encumbrance and really simple. It's cool to see a big, crunchy game like Pathfinder start to take encumbrance seriously
he's praising
and
it.
make
Okay,
it easier for
that's
players
fine.
to deal with. If you want to make,
I was going to say that actually does bring a good point, because Pathfinder does make it work. If slot means smaller numbers, because again, slot does not mean
fewer numbers to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Slot doesn't mean that to me, because my brain goes, what?
Yeah.
So with bulk in Pathfinder 2e, for those who are not aware, though I know most of our audience is aware of Pathfinder 2e at this point,
Although they know that we hate it.
right, that we absolutely despise
Yes.
it. God, it's not like we're gonna play it on Thursday or anything.
It's not like my 2e character is like one of my favorites that I've ever played.
Yeah.
In my entire history of playing TTRPG.
It's things either are bulk or Pathfinder 2. What garbo is that? I know.
Yeah.
But things either have bulk or they don't. If they don't, they're usually something like he said, like chalk or something that is somewhat negligible, that doesn't matter unless you get enough of it, right? In which case it costs a bulk. And you get a number of bulk equal to your strength. And if you have a high strength, you can carry a lot of shit. And some things cost 2 bulk, some things cost more. And it makes it work really well, because some things you just write on your sheet and you go, easy, done. It's basically very similar to poundage in D&D, but you don't have 0.1, Which, to be fair, I don't mind as much, because I don't care as much about how, it's not that difficult for me personally for the numbers and adding them up. But I can see this being something that people go, I don't want to worry about decimals. That's really annoying. In which case I'd go, absolutely, go. Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's fair. But yeah, Pathfinder 2 does do a bit better. And if we're using the term of slot-based system as what Pathfinder does, then I am okay with it. Because again, I had no idea what the fuck you're talking about before, I guess. But now that we're talking about it in this context, then I am okay with slot-based systems, if this is your definition.
Even easier, though, you don't have to anchor the number of slots that you have to a particular character score. In games like Lamentations of the Flame Princess or Troika, there's simply a set number of items that everyone can carry, and it doesn't really vary from person to person. This makes it much easier to remember.
Doesn't really make any
usually
sense,
how it works is that they have great...
I assume in that case, then everybody is at the same, strength level, quote-unquote,
Yeah.
That would,
I guess, but what if you're playing
case?
A character that is... His character is that he is a bodybuilder, and one person is a 15-year-old.
I have no idea. We would need to know the system.
The Goliath can carry just as much as the gnome.
So. Right? Yeah. Well, and again, this is why I assume every character is the same stat-wise, right? I don't know, but that's what I'm going to assume just based off of his very small example.
gradations where at certain tipping points you move up to being encumbered or maybe extra encumbered and you start taking penalties.
Or like
But
super
everything is very
encumbered.
chunky and easy to
Mega
memorize in terms of
encumbered.
where you are on this scale so that players will still use it. One of the cool things about slot-based encumbrance is that you can start hooking other rules onto this system in a way that makes them more entertaining and engaging for players. So for example, what I did in my own game Knave is I made item slots the exact same thing as spell slots. So the way it works is that if you have a spell book, spell books can only contain one spell and they take up an entire item slot. So do you want to be a wizard? That means that all of your item slots will have to be filled up with spell books. This means that you will have less room for things like armor, less room for weapons, and things like that. In other words, you'll be more like a wizard. It all fits together that way.
Sure.
You also have systems like the adorable Mouse Ritter game where you play a mouse living in a human-sized world and having adventures. And what that does is it uses actual little item cards. There we go. And you actually cut them out with scissors and you place them on your character sheet and arrange them kind of like an old school video game. Like
See, there we go.
Tetrising all of your little items together.
Okay.
So it's like fucking
RE4.
Resident Evil.
Yes, RE4. I immediately thought of the case. The suitcase that you can get.
case.
The attaché, thank you. Yes, the attaché case. Okay. See that? I am totally down with the old school fucking inventory systems like that where you have a certain amount of room that you have to like navigate. I love that.
And I am also into playing as a mouse.
Yes, that's also great. I love that.
I want to play as a mouse.
I know, right? We'll have to look into that at some point. Yeah, no, that I like that idea. If that is also a quote unquote slot based system, I'm also cool with that because again, I understand that because I've played a video game before, and not all of them have it, but the ones that do, I like the auto sort button most of the time, to be fair.
Yes.
But in certain instances, I do like the ability to move everything so that I can get this one item that I really, really, really want. And finding that little, like, exact perfect configuration that allows me to. Good feelings.
Yeah. That makes me think of, I know it's not 100% similar. It kind of makes me think about the Monster Hunter storage systems, where, you have a Rathalos wing and a potion and mega potions and all that, but they always take up, how
a
they
certain
just
amount.
stack.
Yeah.
I know it's like nowhere near the same thing. It's just kind of think of it.
Fun because it makes things really tactile and it allows them to easily trade them with other players and it's very visual.
I appreciate
But they do
that you
something
use
else really
tactile
cool
correctly.
on top of that. Whenever they have things like conditions like exhausted, frightened, hungry, injured, and so on, those come on these little red cards. You cut these out and you also put them on your item slots. So they take up space, allowing you to carry less stuff because you're injured or exhausted and so on. So this is a really great visual way of taking conditions, which are often very abstract and hard to remember, and putting them right on your character sheet and having it affect gameplay in a very concrete way.
That's awesome.
That's my take on Encumbrance. The rules are not complicated. It's a very straightforward system to use. I would try implementing it in your home game and see what players think. My impression is that a lot of them will like it. Players, I find, like making choices and they like curating things. Sure. And that's going to happen very quickly when they have to start deciding what they're going to carry and they're not going to carry. Before we go, I am giving away this huge copy.
Okay, yeah, this video is from a while ago, so this is not relevant. But, okay. Again, if everything about slot systems is specifically, the examples, like the examples that you have given us, then yes, I am totally 100% down with using slot systems, quote unquote. I would just call them Pathfinder's bulk system or this mouse game system. I don't know.
The attaché case.
Yes, the attaché case system.
The attaché.
Attaché case, yes.
Yeah, if I were like going to play in a game and someone said we're going to use an inventory system similar to the attaché case, I would know exactly what they meant.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would be down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I'd be down.
100%. 100%.
You're giving me free reign to micromanage.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And like I understand that's not for everyone, but like, man, that'd be super fun for me at least.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think overall, good video.
Yes.
Nothing that made me go other than that one thing of people don't use pounds. Very strange. I like when Pizza Funk said they use kilos instead. Very
God
good.
damn it.
Sorry, I didn't say that before. I didn't see it. But yeah, no, that's a little weird to say, but again, maybe that's not what he meant. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, that's the videos today, boys. Before we do all the sign outs and shit though, I wanna bring up Aiden's thing that he had said before that I do want to talk about a little bit. Yeah. Well, so why don't you I'll give you the floor for it.
So, I would like to alternatively give everyone else the floor. And
I'm nervous now.
give everyone the chance to tell me the story behind what role in D&D are you the most proud of, or perhaps the least proud of. So, I will go first to give an example.
Mm-hmm.
What I am most proud of is there was this Call of Cthulhu game we played a while back.
Yes.
The one that I hated. The shitty one.
No, it was the one you were DM.
I know. So it was the shitty one.
He doesn't like it anymore.
Oh yeah, shitty by default.
Bad.
Yes.
Anyway, go on.
So we got into this gunfight. And anyone who's played Call of Cthulhu knows your characters are not meant for combat.
Yeah. Unless you are, but you know.
Neither were the cultists we were getting into the gunfight with, but I kind of knew that we needed to end this gunfight as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, how can I possibly do this? And I happened to be located pretty close to this one cultist, and I was playing an ex-cop who just hated kids.
Yes, he did.
And I had an over-under double-barrel shotgun.
Right.
And I went up to this cultist, and I rolled an intimidation roll, and I said, "Everybody put down your guns!" And I put the barrel of the shotgun underneath this cultist's chin, and I pulled both triggers, and as this man's head blossomed into a rose, figuratively speaking, everyone kind of realized, fuck, that's Steve. I don't want to be Steve, and you know what? They put down their fucking guns and they put their hands up.
They did do that. They did do that indeed.
They did.
Because
so I was dumb and had you make the roll when I shouldn't have had you. Because what happened was you fired the gun and then made the roll.
Yeah,
and I was like,
I did.
And then you failed the roll, and I'm like, wait a minute, that does not make any sense. You do it.
Exactly. But no, that was fucking great.
Yeah,
it was
really good.
Just, hey, fuckers, lay down your weapons. Oh, I guess I'm putting my weapon down.
Yeah, that's not going to be me, Chief.
See, the reason, and for a little bit more context, the reason why they needed to put those cultists down, and the reason why it was still a dangerous thing was because we had a group of 4, and there were 18 cultists, if I remember correctly.
There were a fuck ton.
Yeah, and so really, the idea was to be like, oh shit, there's a lot of dudes over there, we can't take them. Let's see what they're gonna do. And the plan, I don't really know why this was the plan, but they were gonna summon the thing, and the thing was gonna fucking kill them all and then wander off into the woods.
Yeah,
and
be
then
a
the
later
players
thing.
were gonna be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they were gonna hide behind the trees and hear all the screaming and the dying and the stuff. Is that a fucking bald eagle? Die, you shitter!
Nice.
I just killed a bald eagle in the Division 2.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
How
Anyway.
very undivision of you.
Yeah, right. How very un-American.
you shouldn't have mentioned it was the Division 2.
Why?
Just let people assume it's in real life.
Oh, damn it. Yeah, that's true.
That would have been funny. Yeah, don't worry about it. You didn't hear the gunshot, but I just shot a fucking bald eagle. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
I'm
Anyway.
fucking in the podcast out in fucking Montana,
Yeah.
out in the woods with my gas powered generator powering my fucking 5G tower and my laptop.
Yeah,
Not
that's
my laptop,
right.
my desktop.
He could have hucked the fuck out of a pebble.
It's
True.
Throw my fucking arm out the socket.
But yeah, yeah, that was a great time.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I like every time we talk about it, I'm like, God, it was so shit.
You're right. Yeah,
But-
no, I know.
And the thing that's great is that because I'm writing my new campaign right now, I'm like, fuck, that old campaign was so bad. And since you guys liked it so much, I think you guys are gonna shit yourselves when we play the
I'm
the
glad.
shit that I'm writing.
Yeah,
Because it is like far and away significantly better.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I can't think of a best one, but I can
Yeah.
think of a worst one.
Okay.
Oh, I can think of a worst one. So let me get you to where I will make the roll.
Yeah.
But
Get us up to
before
speed.
that, well, let me set the scene for you. Yeah.
Hmm.
So
Please.
I
Storytelling.
was I was in a one shot.
Okay.
And this one shot was, granted, run by somebody who's pretty new to running things. Thankfully,
I think I know what
yes.
this is.
Thankfully, they've gotten better, as far as I'm aware. I haven't played with them since, but they had us on a very simple mission. We made our characters. I was I believe, a lizard man barbarian. And
Yes.
yes, and we we started our journey to go towards this town because I think we had been told that we should go there. Oh yeah, we'd been told we should go there because we needed to help them because we were going to get paid for it, basically. And I was like, cool, I want money. I want more money. And I failed
We
my
like
persuasion. I like money. So we start going and we get to this crossroads. One path going into the woods, one path continuing on the path, the cobblestone path. And we take the path in the woods because we're like, whatever, let's go through the wood path. And we have an encounter with a few twig blights because we're all level 1 at this point. And we go through the encounter of twig blights. Easy encounter, barely an inconvenience. And we go through the path some more, and it leads back to the cobblestone path that we were taking before to go to the town. So we follow the path to the town, and we get into the town itself, and are basically told to go into the. No, we are told directly to go into the tavern. After, having some role play,
Yes.
trying to at least, and then being told, no, you should go in the tavern, and so we did. We got the quest to go to this cave to kill some things that were being a nuisance. They turned out to be Kuatoa, I believe. No, sorry, no, they were the frogmen. The whatever they're called, I don't remember.
Troglodytes?
No,
No.
they're the little frogmen.
yeah.
Oh, grungs.
Yeah,
Grungs.
yeah, grungs. Yes.
Yeah.
So
How did you feel about that, by the way?
Oh, I was fine. They're fine.
Anyway.
Yeah, they're cartoony. It's fine. So we fight the grungs. Easy fight, barely an inconvenience.
Mm.
And then we get to the roll. because, hey, there's treasure in here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, could you all roll me a d4 to see which part of the cave you go to? Oh, okay, sure. Okay, I got a 4. Oh, you go to this part of the cave. Oh, I got a 2. You go to this part of the cave. Oh, you find treasure.
But Alejo, what about the ones that rolled for a corner that didn't have any treasure?
They didn't find anything.
Oh.
They just went to a corner and looked, and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
I think it was on a 4 that you got. I don't think I got the 4, but you know. There was treasure, and then they called over, and everybody got some treasure. And then we left, and we told them we had done the thing, and then it was over. We didn't have any more time, so we stopped.
Yep.
So we rolled to go to parts of the cave.
Corner of the room.
Instead of being able to say that we wanted to search the place narratively.
Yeah. Instead of choosing where you want to go, you got to roll.
No, yeah, it was... granted, none of us had even made the inclination that we wanted to search the cave yet. This was just right after the fight. To roll to search the cave.
Oh. So
we did so. And man, was I bored.
Yeah.
Man, was I bored with this entire thing. And I was like, okay, it's his first time, but also he's been playing for a while, I think. So, you know, that was my least my least exciting and fun role that I've made.
Yeah. And honestly, I can't really tell you mine. Because I can definitely give you one that's relatively fresh in my mind. My worst decision mate.
Oh.
But I
that's
think
right.
I think you guys probably know.
That wasn't a roll.
Exactly. It wasn't a roll. It was just a role-playing decision that I made. And I'm like, that didn't really work out. In like the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can at least tell the story because I'm sure somebody will think it's funny. Ow! RC blew up in my face. So we have been playing a campaign of a little short campaign in Pathfinder 2e because the boys wanted to give me a break from DMing Delves and Dice. Just because, because I had been DMing it for the past nearly a full year.
Yeah.
And I had been talking about, it's like, man, I can't wait to play and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because, once I'm done DMing that, I'll be able to play in the next campaign. And they're like, do you want to play? And I'm like, you know what? Sure. We can take a little break from it and I can play. And it doesn't really, the characters don't really matter, but I play as a Pathfinder 2e fighter, and I have the specialization or trait or whatever that lets me fight using shields.
Yeah.
And so we're fighting these centipede swarms, which are badass, and they are kicking our asses. And so we start to run away from them because we're getting our asses handed to us by these centipede swarms because we didn't know that swarms have a whole bunch of shit that they don't have in 5e.
Yeah, they're a little more tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we all I still don't really know why I did this, but I basically told one player, I told you, I think, Alejo, to run off to the northeast into some trees.
Yeah.
And then I run to the northwest, and then Aiden runs south. I don't know why I didn't also go northeast. It was weird. But I ran to the west, and there was a little pool of water there. And I'm like, okay. In my head, I'm like, oh, okay, great. Centipedes can't swim. And I'm like, okay, this is perfect. I'll go run and jump in the water, and my character can swim. He's fine.
and before we get to what happened, this was a module that we're running right now.
Yes.
This is a module, and this is an area in the module.
Yes.
I think this is
that
the
was
mansion,
the problem.
The Mansion of Madness or something.
I think it was called The Haunting.
Or the Haunting. Yeah, something
like
that. You can find it. It's a spooky thing.
Mm-hmm. So it's like a big haunted house adventure. But, so...
We're exploring Luigi's fucky mansion.
Yeah.
So, in my defense for 2 points, one, we never really play modules.
No.
And we usually write our own stuff. And so usually if there's water around, I don't immediately assume that it has a monster in it. But in a module, water is a death trap, no matter what.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, like, if the fact that we were playing a module should have been warning sign number 1.
Yeah, and it kind of slipped my mind since it had been so long since I played.
Yeah.
I forgot that water is basically 99% a death trap.
Yeah.
And so I run and jump in the water. I am on very, very, very low health because the centipedes were kicking our asses.
Oh, yeah.
And I jump in the water, and turns out there's a fucking big-ass gibbering mouther in that water. And he picks me up with his big pink tentacles, and hentai happened, and I died. And he ripped my head off.
Yeah.
And not the good kind of hentai.
No.
So, yeah, that wasn't fun. So I fucking ran in there, tried to escape the centipedes, and got ripped in half, and my head came off. It was bad. And so, first session, first character made in nearly a full year, bam, first fight, dead.
Immediately done.
Fully dead. Not like knocked out. No.
No.
Super dead.
Yeah.
Got to dying fucking 4. Just
Yeah,
fucking died.
It was bad.
It was really because the this little pond as well, to add some more context. This little pond as well had this little outcropping basically in the center of it. And I was like, my character was like, oh, maybe that'll, I don't know, stop the thing from fighting my friend or acquaintance at this point.
Yes.
I jump and I make it onto this thing, and I'm like, oh, cool, that was a hard jump. I hope it's worth it. And I light the little brazier or whatever candle with my torch. And it puts a nice display of the starry night sky onto the lake as it's
lake.
filling with blood.
Yeah. It was great. Ugh.
It's so funny.
Yeah. And so
It
that
the
was
funniest
definitely
shit.
my worst decision lately. But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not the best.
It's just, oh man, it was such a funny.
It was a good
funny
time
night.
though.
It was
Yeah.
a funny night. That was the whole fucking night. We
Yeah, that
didn't
was
do
the whole-
anything.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
didn't do shit.
It's been a while since I've laughed that hard at a character death.
Yeah.
I don't think I've laughed at one before.
Yeah.
And it was really just because it's like, man, this is a series of unfortunate events. It's
It
just
really was.
everything is going wrong.
I've always been like, oh, this character died. It's so unfortunate. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah.
And when it came to your character dying, I was like, fucking dumbass.
It was just one thing after another for all of us. We all could have died that night. It would have been funny.
Dude, I was down to 2 hit points.
I
for
know.
the centipede swarms.
Everybody was because the centipedes.
I was only down to 12 because I could heal myself because I was a champion.
Yep. It was really bad.
Oh man. Anyway, so
So that was that, and that was fun.
well, hey, if you're out there and you're still listening and you have some bad or good stories to tell, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear them.
Do we have any in the chat right now?
No, not at the moment. I think everybody's getting a bit tired because it is midnight.
Yeah.
So that's fair enough. But let us know. Send them in. Put them in your comments or put them in their Discord or send a tweet. I don't know. Fucking throw it on the Instagram. I have not done anything to that thing in years. But we still get new followers, which is weird. Anyway,
It's really weird.
it's whatever. But yeah. So that'll do it for us for tonight. Thank you so much to everybody who's stuck around, to everybody who's watching now or in the future or in the distant past somehow. Thank you very much, and that'll be it for us for today. So you can find us usually live on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. and then again as a VOD on the YouTube channel at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays. And then again as an audio-only version on Mondays at 12 p.m. or so on your podcasting service of choice. And if it's not on there, let me know and I'll try to get it on there. Other than that, thank you again to all of our patrons. Oh, that's not the thing. Thank you again to all of our patrons. That is Draco, Kraken, Mog Zero, Laser, Steely, Drake, Cross, Chris, Frozen Spaghetti, and Kill Chrono. Again, if you want to donate to that, you can if you want to. Don't feel obligated.
If you want to get people to say your name.
Yes, if you want your name to be shouted out and shilled at.
If only we had a cute e-girl.
If only we had a cute e-girl. True.
That would drive the power of our shoutouts through the roof.
True. One day maybe we'll hire some cute e-girl to read all of your names.
If you want to be that cute e-girl, donate and let us know.
You don't have to donate, you can let us know, I guess. Anyway.
No, this
don't be a shitter.
This way I get them to pay for their own job application.
God damn it. Okay. I hate that. Okay, well, thank you again. Glad to be back.
It's illegal too, I believe.
Shut up. Shut up. For $5 a month, you can shout it out for up to 4 times a month. Hey, that's true.
God.
That is true. Thanks,
Yes,
Mog, and thank you for the thank you. For the great show. I appreciate the compliment. Okay, so yeah, we'll be back to a regularly scheduled program every week, and unless something catastrophic happens, like I don't know, somebody goes into a coma or something,
or if one of us feels sleepy that night.
Feeling a little bit added there. Okay. You get into a car accident, go into a coma one time.
Yeah. You never hear the end of it.
Never. Anyway, thanks so much, and we'll see.
You give death like a hello hug,
a small kiss.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's end it. Thank you again, and we'll see you next week.
Let's end it.
I'm your second host, ItsSneakyAdolf.
Oh, there it is at the end. Is that the new bit? Hey.
I'm looking for bits, man. Accuracy by volume.